So when we last left off, the party was leaving Nordgard. Tempus had run north into the woods to await everybody else. Yaereene started off with Harris the Strong to find Tempus, and the ladies had just left the north gate of Nordgard with the cart and their remaining mule. So Yaereene, you're walking along and through the snow following Tempus's tracks. I'd like you to make an insight check for me, please.
Aye.
A whopping 8. Okay, yeah, you don't really notice anything in particular about Harris as you're walking along. And so you're completely blindsided when she punches you in the shoulder.
Oi! What was that for?
You strong for your kind?
Not particularly. I'm more an entertainer than an athlete.
Huh. You dance good?
Fair. I'm more a musician then. See, and I point to my panpipes, and then I point to my lute over my shoulder.
Maybe you play nice song for Harris.
I guess so. We're not worried about being ambushed or set upon by any vagabonds or anything like this. The area is quiet, is it?
Harris not worried about little things running through woods. We're fine.
All right, then. What would you rather, the lute or the panpipe?
Let me hear stringy thing.
All right, then. Yeah, there we go.
So you play this marvelous tune absolutely perfectly. And give me another insight check.
Well, at least I noticed her.
You see that she gets this kind of faraway look in her eyes as she's listening to you, and she kind of smiles wistfully before her attention is drawn back to you, and you can tell that she's kind of eyeing you up a bit.
Well, now, Tempus. How do you know Tempus?
Tempus, my son.
What? You look awfully young for that.
Her cheeks flush, kind of a brownish color, and she says, "Thank you, little man."
You're welcome, ma'am.
Harris have several children, most with different fathers, and she kind of wiggles her eyebrows at you.
Oh, indeed. I guess things are a little bit different in orc culture than I'm used to.
I don't know. What are you used to?
Not being flustered.
Well, Harris has lost some of her children to undead. Might need to make more.
Wouldn't that make it awkward for me in Tempus if he had to call me half-dead?
What? You no be Tempus's dad. You be new one's dad.
Well, I think that what we need to do first, though, is make sure we catch up, find Tempus, and then we could discuss different things.
She walks a couple of large fingers up your arm and says, "There's time before we see Tempus. We could be quick this time."
Now, you do realize that I'm nowhere near as strong as you.
That's okay. Harris will be mostly gentle.
Well then, in for a penny, in for a pound. Now, shall we discuss rhythm?
So Harris isn't so much into discussing the finer details of how it's done, and just sort of picks Yaereene up and takes him off to a secluded area underneath some trees where it's not quite such deep snow, and has her way with him.
if you tell me I have to do a performance roll, I'm going to kill you.
Well, somebody else had to recently.
Please do.
Oh, would have kept my mouth shut. All right.
Oh, don't worry. Trust me, he would have thought of it.
It's kind of top of mind for me. So you have a really good roll around in the snow with Harris the Strong. She is quite content with your performance. Once you've finished, she gets up and throws her clothes back on and says, "Good. Now we go see Tempus."
Hi. And I actually get up with a little bit of a bounce in my step and a bit of a happy grin. And I'm busy shaking out the snow out of my trousers that got dragged as I was being thrown about. Well, thank you. That was lovely. Now, as you say, let's be off.
Yes, let's be off. And she leads the way back to Tempus's tracks, and you guys carry on to the north. And she also has a bounce in her step.
I actually reach out and touch her forearm, and I say, thank you.
She takes you into a very tight one-armed hug and lifts you off the ground as she's walking along and says, "No, thank you."
I think I'm honestly blushing in real life. Okay, so K-Tierra blushes and then picks up the panpipe and just quietly toodles a little romantic air. So, just something very soft as they go off with him being carried as her favorite baggage.
Better watch out. You might not make it to Tempus before round 2. All right. Miri, Yaereene, and Ysmyr, you guys are following 3 sets of tracks up to the north with your cart. Is there anything that you guys would like to discuss on your way?
Well, if we knew about that, we'd sure discuss that. But
Ysmyr is silently fuming right now, so I don't know.
Well, I think we're all a little bit frustrated about having effectively been rushed out of town.
no, Yaerene's not. She's just morose.
We weren't rushed out of town. Tempus was rushed out of town.
Yep, and now we have to go find the boys. Did we talk to the orcs?
You can, before you head off if you want. You do see that there is an orc camp being set up a little ways away from the city walls.
Okay, I want to at least check it out and make sure that these are living people. Friendly living people.
I think that's
Okay.
important too.
Yeah, let's go.
Sure. You guys get closer and you can give me perception checks.
Well, while they're going, when she has a minute to breathe, Ysmyr is going to check with Yaereene and just kind of make sure she's doing okay since yesterday. Through her fuming, it's also like a, "Are you okay?"
Well, I don't have a family anymore.
Sure you do, you have us.
Your family?
Sort of.
Some kind of family cobbled together, I suppose. Nothing else. We're friends.
Friends. That's exciting.
Not nothing.
I don't know that I've had those before.
Well, now you have them.
Friends.
Yes, and I heard somewhere that if you want them to be, friends can become your family. And considering you are looking for one, you should know if you need to talk or need anything. We're at least here to listen and help if we can. I know yesterday was overwhelming, so just when you've wrapped your head around things a bit better, if you need it, we're here.
I do have one question. What do I have to do now that I'm an orc?
What?
Tempus said I'm an orc now. I don't know what I'm supposed to do.
I think what he means is that he counts you as family. The way he counts us all as family. I don't think he means you're physically an orc. Because you're clearly not physically an orc.
No, I didn't. I think I looked like an orc, but I didn't know. He takes his clothes off a lot, and I didn't want to necessarily have to do that.
No, please don't!
No, I don't think you have to do that.
Okay, I just thought I'd check with you guys.
Please,
think-
one person who takes their clothes
I
off
think-
in public too much is more than enough.
Okay, just thought I'd double check.
I think what you need to start thinking about now, Yaereene, is that you are kind of free to do whatever you wish.
Well, I wanted to make my family proud by helping, and that didn't go so well.
You're helping us.
And we're proud of you for it.
I'll keep doing that then.
Yes. And if we can manage to fix the whole undead issue, then maybe we
I'm
can
not very
be
fond of them.
victorious.
They're really problematic. They shouldn't be here.
Yes. And we're going to deal with them.
We've got a lot to deal with.
And we'll do it a little at a time.
And speaking of dealing with things, Yaereene and Miri, based on your perception checks, you do get the sense that these figures around the campfires off in the distance are living. Some of them are shuffling, but they're more of a wounded type of limping rather than the slow, methodical shuffling of a zombie type of thing.
We share that with Ysmyr.
Let's go see if we can help them if they're ouched. Because injured people can use healing, and if we can heal them and send them inside to help bolster the defenses of the town, then they can help the town handle the undead. Yes?
Potentially. But you're right, we should find out who they are anyway.
And they're living, so maybe we can at least help them feel better. And certainly find out who they are.
Okay. Can you guys give me perception checks, please?
Ha, no.
Okay. Miri and Yaereene, once again, you guys are kind of on point as you approach the group, and you hear a figure rustling around off the road to the north a bit, removed from the rest of the group, and you can see them kind of brushing their hands through the snow, moving snow aside, and picking at various trees as well.
Do they look like they're gathering food? Like Yaereene would be familiar with what that looks like. Or hiding tracks.
No, not hiding tracks. It's definitely gathering of some type.
She'll point them up to Ysmyr and Miri because she doesn't know if Miri saw them.
Mary sees them, but is kind of looking at them oddly, like, what are you trying to do?
Are they closer than the rest of the group?
Yes.
Well, let's make for them. Maybe we can help.
Okay. Yeah, so you approach. Are you approaching stealthy or are you just approaching openly?
Don't know if we're close to town, right? So.
Yep.
So it probably can't hurt to just approach.
Okay. So as you guys crunch through the snow, the figure turns around and glares at you in the middle of snapping a little twig off a tree. The figure is a huge, bulky orc wearing a variety of different animal hides stitched together, and doesn't look terribly impressed at having company.
Mary stops and fists her hands against her hips and goes, well, you're clearly not hiding, so why are you glaring at me?
You just hear a low grumble from Ysmyr.
Trident no want company. Trident healing orcs.
I should like to assist, if I may.
Fine. Go help elsewhere.
If you'll kindly point me to where the injured ones are, I will help.
Trident just kind of waves a large hand at the orc camp and says, most hurt.
What
All right.
happened?
Does Trident have to talk to you? Can't you talk to them?
Mary at this point has decided to wander off towards the camp.
If you can tell us the name of someone we can talk to, then we will leave you alone. We are just here to talk and help.
Go talk Gulaha.
Gulaha.
That right. And Trident turns around and continues gathering various bits and pieces from surrounding space.
All right, thank you. And she'll kind of gesture to Miri, or Yaereene, since Miri went already, to follow her. And we're going to look and I guess start asking for Gulaha.
I'll follow you.
The orcs do point you towards another orc, and you see that she is tending to the ones who are the most injured of the group. She's not using any kind of spells or anything, but she's binding wounds with various hides and cloths at her disposal.
Mary walks up, pulling her healer's bag out, and says, "Where can I help?"
Wordlessly, she points off to several orcs that are laying on the ground, unmoving.
Mary nods, walks over, and goes to check on them.
The orcs that she has indicated are all still alive, although they are in rough shape and unconscious. So if you want to use half dozen charges of your healer's kit, then you would be able to at least ensure that they are all bandaged up and recovering.
Sure.
Okay, you don't need to make any medicine checks for that. Just remove 6 charges from the healer's kit, and when you're done, the orc who pointed you in that direction comes over and sits down heavily beside you and says, "Thank you."
You're quite welcome, ma'am. What happened?
We were attacked on our travels. We had not intended to come to Nordgard quite so soon in the season. However, we were forced to change our plans when the undead struck at us unexpectedly.
Indeed, and the undead have been striking here as well. You'd probably be safer within the walls.
Yes, we are awaiting Harris to return with Tempus so that he can tell us why we do not currently have lodgings in the city.
Because we've been out trying to deal with the undead menace.
There are a few reasons for it, but if you or one of your leaders are good speakers, there are a few people you could talk to. We could help you talk to.
I am one of the leaders of the orcs, and well, definitely the only one who would be suitable for speaking with the leadership of the city, for Trident tends to prefer the animals.
All right. We could probably help you get in contact with the leader of the army and city guard, as well as Prince Bartimus. He is in the city, and last we spoke to him, supportive of your people coming inside.
That is good to hear.
Some things may have shifted lately with the tensions in the city running high, but that is, we had a starting point, and hopefully it is still there.
Well, I shall rest for the night, and then we shall see what the morning brings.
How close is it to morning?
It's still several hours off.
Then I propose that it might be a good idea to just sort of take a rest here with the orcs, and then accompany them to make sure they're settled once dawn comes.
They're waiting for Tempus. We should find Tempus.
I hate to suggest splitting the party again, but at the same time, where the heck did the boys go?
You did see tracks heading off to the north.
They left when the guy came to your door. I don't know where they went.
I have a guess based off those tracks we saw. We were planning on heading to the lake, weren't we?
Yes.
Then we can try and find him there and bring him back, since his people are waiting so patiently.
Well, at the least, if we bring him back here to talk to his people, that seems perfectly reasonable to have him deal with talking to his people. And then we can set off the lake. I'd rather not delay more than we have to, but I'd also rather not leave these people out here undefended.
We're going to have to introduce them to the town council members regardless, Miri. I think
Yes,
I think
fine.
our trip is a little delayed regardless.
When we passed
Yep.
by the tracks to the north, could I tell how long ago those had been there?
Not terribly long, maybe an hour or so.
Do you guys want me to see if I can find them? If those were in fact our people?
I think we can go if this Harris is looking for him. Maybe they've already found Tempus and we'll meet them halfway.
I think it should be safe enough to leave these people here for now. I want to check and make sure that they've set a watch, but
Yes, they have. They've got a few scouts roaming around the perimeter.
all right, if they've got a watch, then we can leave long enough to go get Tempus and Katera, bring the boys back, and this Harris, lass, and then we'll figure things out from there if we need to go back into the city. Anyway, then perhaps I can go track down this Yuri person, and then we can go north to the lake and look into...
You are thinking so far ahead, Miri, I wouldn't even bother. Let's just get Tempus and come back first.
All right. Yes, plans tend to go awry when I try to plan them too far out. I need to stop trying to plan too far out. Let's go get Tempus. I just want to make sure everyone is bandaged properly and not likely to need anything while we are away.
Yeah, you've attended to the people who are the worst injured. Everyone else is walking wounded, so they will recover on their own given time.
Right, so I just make sure there's a pot of restorative tea and add some of my healing herbs to their soup.
You do that, and all of a sudden, the orc that you met outside of the camp comes thundering over and kicks the pot over and says,
Now, what did you do that for? You've wasted your food.
"Try and make meal."
All right, I'm sorry I messed with it. I was just adding a couple of extra healing herbs that I have brought from home that I know help. Here.
Try to know what herbs help orcs. No need yours.
All right, I apologize. May the light bless you and grant all of you great healing so that you are better faster. I should return to you with this.
Trident just turns to the pot, rights it, and tosses some snow in and starts putting his own stuff in it. And he's completely ignoring you.
Well, I give my blessing to them all anyway.
Okay.
Let's just go, Miri.
Yep.
Okay, so you guys head off. Tempus, you are alone in the woods, kind of just as at the edge of where it starts to get to be dense woods. And you have found yourself a cozy little spot to sit. What kinds of things are you thinking about as you wait for your party, your war band, to find you?
I'm not going to lie, Tempus has a lot on his mind. He's a little bit angry at himself because he realizes that he's gone and done it again. He split the party and left them without defenses. And he's maybe even having a little bit more of an existential crisis. The guard would have caught him if Yaereene hadn't intervened and interfered, and if anything, that shook him even more, the thought that he was almost taken in by the long arm of the law. So he's sitting there and he's thinking to himself, is this really the right thing to do? Like, what is this really the correct way that I want my life to turn out? Is this really how I'm going to find my destiny and die in a glorious battle? And he's going to sit there and he's going to think and he's going to say to himself, what would my grandfather do in a situation like this? And then after a few minutes, he'll chuckle a little bit and he'll say, "Oh, Grandpa, I miss you. Stay the course, Tempus. That's the only thing we can do. We're going to help Ysmyr conquer the world so Yaereene can rule it. And then I'm going to find Miri's god and squeeze him until the divine magics leak out and she can cure the zombie plague. And Katera, I don't know what Katiara wants out of life. I do some of my best work with that guy, but I hardly know anything about him. We need to hang out more. And with that, I'll sit down and I'll wait.
Okay. The context of that last statement is going to be fantastic. So you wait for a little while, and you see two figures approaching you. One of them is clearly Katiara, and the other one you recognize as your mother.
Mama? And Tempus is going to stand up and is going to start running over towards them, yelling, Mama! Mama! At which point, then he's going to, like, sort of register Katiara and, like, kind of skid to a stop and, like, look back and forth between the two of them and say, Mother, how surprising to see you here.
Not so surprising for me. After all, you left these tracks to find you, and the little one here, she kind of pinches his cheek, told me that you came this way.
At seeing that, Tempus's eyes are going to narrow and say, Well, I'm very glad that you met my good friend Katiara. Mother, may I have a moment with him?
Katiara just gets very, very wide-eyed.
If that is your wish, yes. I do have much to speak with you about.
We'll be quick, and I'll take Katiara and just sort of drag him off to the side, and I'll look over at my mom, and I'll look back to Katiara, and I'll say, Now, Katiara, I understand that my mother is not only incredibly beautiful, but very, very forceful. If she has claimed you as her own, and it is not entirely with your consent, tell me now, and I will make a meek and submissive comment on your behalf.
Your mother certainly is a handful, but it's good. I don't know if she's claimed me, but things happened, and it wasn't entirely without my consent. So,
Well, welcome to the family, and I'll give you a great big hug.
Well, no. We have to see if your mom thinks of me as more than a plaything and a toy. So let's leave this up to your mom, right?
Well, it's actually entirely up to her. You don't really have much of a choice in the matter now, but for the time being, welcome to the family.
I just blink really hard and I go, oh?
And I'll just turn right on back to Harris and tell her, So, Mother, why are you here? The tribe wasn't to come to Nordgard before spring. Are you scouting the village?
No, there were complications, and the tribe had to move earlier than anticipated. The journey was difficult, but not undoable. And even with injured in our ranks, we made it without too many complications after the initial battle.
The battle? What happened?
Give me an insight check. You catch on her face just the briefest moment of sorrow flash across her features, which you have never seen before in your entire life.
Mother, what happened?
Grunar, Herix, Fengar the Quick, Carlin, Hildar, Nuna, and her voice breaks as she says, Finnar, Telgut, and Oxtet, and so many more died.
Did they die fighting?
You would have been proud of Nuna when she saw the undead coming for the little ones. She went into a rage unlike anything an orc is capable of. When Oxtet died, she charged into glorious battle and tore the undead asunder before they brought her down. It was glorious, but others were not so fortunate and died in their sleep.
They will be avenged. All of them will be avenged. Where is the tribe now?
That is why I came to see you. They camp outside of Nordgard's north gate, and we were told that you have not yet arranged for our lodgings inside the city.
There have been complications. We should go back to the tribe, and I will explain along the way. And if nothing else, we'll start walking, or we'll start a steady jog back to the tribe. And KTR, do you have anything that you'd like to add?
I'm still kind of bemused and shell-shocked and startled by everything that's happened within... What are we talking? This has been about half hour, an hour?
About an hour for you, yeah.
Yeah, I'm still processing really hard.
Before you can jog off, Tempus, Harris puts a hand on your arm and holds you and says, I have already lost 3 children. I do not want you returning to the orcs as a failure and losing a 4th.
Ouch.
You tell me what has happened, and I can return to them and fill them in.
Tempus is going to bristle a little bit at that and is going to say, You don't understand, Mother. I didn't get lodging for the tribe because there wasn't any need for it. You weren't supposed to be here until this spring. Some of the people in the city have taken umbrage at me for no better reason than the fact that I am...
She takes a swipe at you, but fails to connect. You had one job to do when you left the tribe. Yes, we came early, but you had more than enough time to discuss with their leadership how to get us into the city. Now we come...
Harris, he does... I'm not trying to make excuses, but he has made some inroads with a prince. So he's not a total failure. He's in the process of doing the task. However, there has been complications with the undead coming here, and us having to make sure they don't wreck the city before you guys can come. So there's been a bunch going on, dear.
She you can see that despite the anger on her face, her cheeks do blush a little bit again. And she turns to Tempus and says, If you have indeed begun to make friends with this prince, perhaps not all is lost, and we can enter before the undead return to finish us off.
At no point did anyone tell me to arrange for lodging in the city. You were to come here to trade, and that was it. Even you yourself told me that you were ready to take the city by force if they would not deal with us fairly and honorably.
If you could see our people now, you would know that that is no longer a possibility, and a trade negotiation at least would have allowed us to enter with some promise of hope. But we have nothing, and we camp outside the gates, and apparently we have no deal whatsoever with them. What are we to do?
Come with me and return to the city. I will deal with this.
You don't understand. The only council members who still live are Trident and Gulaha. With Leyland talking to them, you won't survive a meeting with them.
I didn't mean a meeting with the jagged tusk. Let me speak on behalf of the tribe to this prince. He is an honorable man, unlike many in the city, and I believe that if you and I deal with him, we can secure not just safe passage and healing for the jagged tusk, but we can unite our 2 tribes to fight this undead menace.
Fine. We will return, and you will go directly into the city and find this prince.
Yes. Katiara, where is the rest of the warband? I'm likely going to need help for this one.
Well, since we tended to wander off first, I would assume they're hot on our trail. As your mother said, we weren't exactly subtle. So if we retrace our steps, I'm sure we'll come across them.
Then let us away. I I have a plan, but oh, Ysmyr is going to kill me.
I'm sure she's less than thrilled.
Your mother looks at you approvingly when you say that Ysmyr is going to kill you. But yeah, Harris pushes you along to the south, back towards the city, and about halfway back, you meet up with Ysmyr, Yaereene, and Miri with the cart.
There you are. We're looking for you.
Yes. Sorry about that.
I just kind of wave.
Ysmyr is standing silently, glaring daggers at you right now.
Ysmyr, war leader, can we have a talk, please?
That's probably a very good idea.
Shouldn't we turn around and head back while we talk?
When we're done, Tempus and I need to have a talk.
All right.
I try and play some calming music.
Oh, you're getting a glare too.
And if Ysmyr will allow it, we'll take a few paces off to the side, close enough that everybody can absolutely listen in. But Tempus is going to look at you and say, I think that I need to apologize, and I think that you likely have some things that you would like to say. So who should go first?
I'll go. Since I met you, thought there was potential, but since then, you have been acting like nothing more than a child trying to pretend you have the capabilities of an adult. Last night's tantrum and destruction is evidence enough. Take no consideration for how your actions are negatively affecting others around you. You don't know anything about the world outside the mind of Tempus, and you refuse to recognize other cultures and expectations that may not align with yours. And you refuse to adapt to the world around you, yet you expect it to adapt to you. That's not how things work here. You learn and adapt to the world. Your personal rules are not the standard by which everyone else operates. Your normal is not mine. It is not Yaereene's, Kitiara's, or Miri's. Even orc clans and their individuals are different, so why can't you expect the same for other peoples as well? And if that's not enough and you are so hungry for battle and war, perhaps you should approach the flesh takers and see if they are recruiting, because I will not tolerate your apparent bloodlust and threats to the people of Nordgard, people I have been working to protect from those who seek to harm them. But if not, if you truly still want to remain a part of this so-called warband, I suggest you start truly thinking about the other members and not just your own pride, because your actions so far are telling me that you would prefer to remain a warband of one. You don't get to decide when it's convenient for you to be a part of this group. You are either a part of it and will learn how to match our standards to yours, or you can decide to go off on your own. And if that's the case, I suggest you go home to your mother, and perhaps she will cater to your ego, because I sure as hells will not. I have no time to deal with an impulsive child when I have a city and its inhabitants to worry about. And then she's... I'm not angry, Tempus. I'm thoroughly disappointed. You could be great, you could be a leader, but you act in such extremes that you are always going to be more likely to impede those you would seek to raise up. Did you ever stop to think that it was yours and Katiara's own blatantly offensive actions that made things worse for Yaereene? You ruined chances that Yaereene could reconcile with her parents before she even got to address her own grievances. You need to learn that waiting or walking away is a choice as well. Force and yelling the loudest is not always the answer. If both of you had learned something called temperance, maybe we would have reached a peaceful agreement. But no, you didn't care about the difficult position it forces everyone else into, whether we agreed with you or not. And then you had Prince Bartimus defending a potential alliance between the city and your clan. And then you insult him by throwing his support back in his face and threatening the people he is here to defend. I don't care if it was one family. It's still a threat. You made it infinitely more difficult for myself, the prince, and all the people on your side to convince others to welcome your clan into the city. Did you think about that, or were you just assuming you and your people would plow through and pillage like expected? And then she stops and takes a breath and waits.
The comment about the flesh takers really hurt my feelings, but we can address that later. I don't entirely agree with everything that you said, but I can understand that you're disappointed with me. I am disappointed with me that I chose to engage the god and split the party rather than trusting that you would help me in that fight. I took the easy way out, and I chose to fight in a field that I could understand. You are right. Your world is very, very different from mine, and it seems clear that I'm not well equipped for it. I'm sorry. Among the jagged tusk, apologies are meant to hurt. They should cost something, to show that we have absorbed the lessons and that the regret is genuine. So, here, and I'm going to pull off my father's ring from the Explorers Guild of Nordgard, and I'm going to hold it out to Ysmyr and say, I would like you to have this as a symbol of how sorry I am for the actions that I took. I don't entirely agree with the understanding of Yaereene's family. From my standpoint, I was defending my party when their men attacked Yaereene, but I do understand that you do not see the world as I do, and that is why you cannot approve of how I chose to engage them. However, at this time, I need your help. My tribe is in danger, and I think I need you to help see them safe.
And she's going to clearly be thinking about it. She's going to glance at the ring, and then she's going to look at you. Keep the ring. I don't need it. For me, apologies are followed through with a show of change. If your apology is true, you will do better.
I can't promise that I am always going to act in a way that a man would. I am not a man. I am an orc.
And I understand that, which is why I was trying to press the point that you need to find a way to blend who you are together in a way that works with everyone else.
But seriously, though, Yaereene's parents, I don't regret that, really too terribly much. They totally had that coming. I understand the situation it's put us in, but...
One day, you will be face to face with whatever saw fit to let you exist in the universe, and you will have to justify the space you filled, and I truly hope when that time comes, you have a good answer. And then she's going to step away and rejoin the group.
I have been scoping out Harris hard all through this to see how she's reacting.
She is wearing a shit-eating grin, watching her son get dressed down by Ysmyr.
Okay. I look over.
And then, when she joins the group, she's finally going to acknowledge Harris and be like, hello, sorry you had to hear that.
It is a pleasure to meet you, war leader. I like the way you handle my son. She gives you a punch on the shoulder.
You must be his mother.
Yes. And if you think that he could come back and hide behind me, you don't know me very well at all. No, if he has brought shame unto the warband, then he would be best alone rather than disgracing the tribe.
I don't know if it's shame so much as many, many headaches right now.
Excuse me, Harris? I think Ysmyr needs to talk to me too. Shall we get this done with?
She puts an arm protectively around you and says, "No, she is Tempus's war leader. I am your leader now."
Oh dear. But there are things that I still have to account for while she was my war leader, and I'm still part of her party. And
then
really
you tell me what you did, and I will confer with her.
Oh my.
We should all get walking back to the Jagged Tusks camp, please.
Sure.
Yeah. It's going to be a bit of a chat, dear.
We have time as we return.
I know. Well, where shall I start? Do we just assume that I go through it, or do I need to go through it?
You don't need to go through it if you don't want to. If you're laying it all out for her, that's fine.
I am going to just honestly tell her, and just because I am who I am, I always try and shade it in a way that I'm not that, like things happened. I reacted the best way I could. I didn't always make the best choices, but I was never hurtful or,
You're
conspicuously thinking. I'm trying to shade it as best as I can with all my eloquent bard's tongue.
Give me a persuasion
you're gonna
check.
have a background course of ha.
Okay, so do I need to roll a performance?
Persuasion with advantage.
Okay.
So yeah, she believes that you acted honorably in defense of one of the members of your war band, who may not have acted so honorably himself. Although she's still on the fence about how Tempus declared war on Yaereene's family. She's not. How do I say? She's not holding that against him at this point, because the way that Yaereene's parents treated her was unconscionable. But knowing that Tempus, quote unquote, started it, and you were simply looking out for Tempus, she would make that case to Ysmyr that you brought no dishonor to the warband.
Katira lost his head first, but both reacted poorly, in my opinion. So that's not going to convince me.
Yeah, she's not so concerned about what happened in the manor as she is with Tempus's behavior afterwards, especially fleeing the city instead of facing his accusers. So that's the part that she's more interested in. The heat of the moment when the parents were speaking poorly to guests in their house, as she thinks of them, even if you weren't guests, is in her eyes understandable. But yeah, she's more concerned with the latter part over anything else.
Gotcha. And for Ysmyr, it's more a point he saw fit to engage when he didn't have to, and it just brought more problems.
Dear, I was a bit overreactive to our parents. I should have taken a bit of a clue from Yaereene's behavior, but at the same time, she's a good girl that's just been beaten down.
Harris turns away from you and looks at Yaereene and is just staring hard at you and says, "How do you feel about how Katira and Tempus handled your family?"
Oh my.
My indeed. I don't know. And she trips as she's moving closer and falls and does not get up.
I kind of move over towards her and want to help her up. And Yaereene, if I did wrong, just say so.
Katira, Harris doesn't let you get close to Yaereene and pushes you aside. And well, you can give me an insight roll.
Me or Kitiara?
Katira, sorry.
Miri is helping Yaereene up.
You get the sense that Harris doesn't want you to deal with another female, as she pushes you aside and, along with Miri, reaches out and helps Yaereene get back on her feet.
Oh my god, I'm in a harem.
Not even. It's just a one-person thing.
That we know of. I wrote up my mother. It's probably a harem.
Fair enough.
If you don't know how you feel, then perhaps Katira and Tempus acted in your best interest, standing up for you against your parents.
I just wanted them to be proud of me.
And had you acted in a way that would make them proud?
I look imploringly at Ysmyr to frickin' stand up for Yaereene because I know I'm just going to get shut down.
Not the way they wanted me to.
But she has been acting in a way that is to be proud of. That's their failing. And that's what I was going to address.
Who is more important to you? Your parents or your warband?
Yaereene just whimpers at this point in time.
I think it's going to take her a little longer to figure that out. You'll have to give her time to come to terms with it.
Then if she does not know, I cannot blame Ketiara and Tempus for coming to her defense.
And I suppose I can't either, though the way they went about it was not correct for the situation. And Ketiara, at least, should have known better.
Don't speak to him that way. And she's just glaring daggers at you, Miri.
Now, Harris, they have their point of view, and they will express it, but it does not affect us, okay?
I'm gonna lean over to Miri and say, Miri, my mother has laid claim to Ketiara. He belongs to her now, so if you talk to him in a disparaging fashion, you're calling into question her taste and wisdom for putting up with him. So just be nice to Ketiara, and you're going to have to stop relentlessly flirting with him all the time, because he belongs to my mother now.
That was awesome.
Wait,
You just see me like get all wide-eyed and very, very confused and stare at Tempus and like mouthing, flirt?
well, you whack him all the time to show him how strong you are and how much you value his opinion. Did I not?
I whacked him because he's being an idiot!
I'm going to turn back to Ysmyr and say, I'm starting to think I understood a lot less than I ever thought I did.
You think? There's definitely a difference in how people punch people here. I'm sure you weren't punching Gorold for flirting reasons, were you?
No, but everyone could understand that because I engaged him with ceremony and purpose.
Yeah, so that is one version of a different kind of punching.
Exactly. We were in a ring of honor, fighting, whereas Miri just goes and whacks Ketiara whenever she feels like it.
You need to get him to shut up!
You might want to rethink the way you do that, Miri.
Apparently!
I just decide,
Either.
I look over to Miri and I go, Miri, you've got to send more clear messages.
I think I was clear!
She needs to send no messages whatsoever.
Oh, not anymore, dear. Of course not now.
Flirt with anyone! I'm a cleric!
She picks up Ketiara and walks ahead of the rest of the group, the rest of the way to Nordgard.
Has she me facing forward or backwards?
She's got you in a hug where you can just barely see over her shoulder, behind her. You can see the party following.
This is when Ysmyr kind of begrudgingly leans over to Tempus and is like, we're never getting him back, are we?
Oh, of course we will. My mother is very understanding, and she wouldn't have taken up with him if he hadn't have done something to impress her, so he will definitely be released to go on adventures and such. But he belongs to her now, until she's done with him.
Am I able to get an arm out of the embrace?
If you want to give me an opposed grappling check.
A strength.
Well, you can use acrobatics to try to get out of it if that's better.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to try and use acrobatics, and not in an annoying way or squirming like I'm wanting to get out of it. It's more like, I just want to, get it. Oh, sorry, I did that. Oh, I did it right.
Yeah, we'll take the first roll. That's fine. Yeah, you don't get free at all. She's got you in a death grip.
Okay, so all that happens is that you can see me stick out my tongue and wink at Miri as I'm being carried away.
Miri still looks upset.
I just start whistling away.
Miri's gonna pick up some snow and throw a snowball at you.
You don't want to do that.
Katie, Tempus is going to intervene and say, Miri, no,
Not gonna
stop.
land anywhere close.
Miri, no, stop. Just seriously, he belongs to my mother now, and we should all be very, very, very respectful of that. Trust me.
Don't challenge her claims, Miri. Every time you talk to him, you're challenging a claim. So you get to ignore Katyra all you want.
If I ignore him and he gets away with all the stupid that comes out of his mouth.
I don't think I'd insult him either.
And then Ysmyr is going to again glance to Tempus and is like, all right, we left your people by the gates because they were waiting for you and Harris. What are we doing now?
If you can, I would like you to retrieve the prince and bring him outside of the city gates. My mother has told me what has befallen the tribe, and without mincing words, there is, well, the Jagged Tusk were never completely unified, and with our head woman having been lost, I'm certain that certain elements within the tribe are trying to steal power and influence. We need to first undo whatever damage I may have done within the city, as well as bind my people to the prince. I believe that this is the last hope for my tribe coexisting peacefully with the city of Nordgard.
Wait, what? Your people are not unified? Why?
Are all the temples unified?
Well, no, but it's not like they fight, generally.
I arch an eyebrow at Miri.
We are orcs, Miri. Fighting is what we do. And there is one orc among the tribe who...
Well, yes, but fighting is what soldiers do, too. And it's not like they fight among themselves except in training.
Well, see, we are not soldiers. And I'm going to look over to Ysmyr. We are warriors, and there is a difference, one that I'm starting to understand more and more. For ourselves, personal honor is perhaps of a greater importance.
Like the knights?
I don't know what a knight is, so maybe.
And I don't really have a good explanation of that. Sorry.
Tempus, a knight is basically a warrior that will do foolish things to make himself look good to others, even though he knows he can't win the battles that he's about to start.
Yes, that one. That's a Jagged Tusk right there. Anyway, there are orcs within the tribe that neither have my mother's best interest at heart, nor are particularly interested in peace with Nordgard. And I didn't want any of this to happen. The tribe was not to be here until spring, and I thought that when they came, they would be bargaining from a position of strength. But that's okay. I have a plan. I need the prince.
I think you need to tell your plan to us first, so we can help you make it right.
If I can bring the prince in front of the tribe, I know that I stand at least something of a chance to convince him to take the tribe in as his own entourage, bodyguard, as his own personal allies. However, doing so may cost him political capital as a result of my unfriendly relations with some of the nobles in your own city. And so I have a plan as to how we can negate both of those things.
And the plan is?
It's the same as all of my plans. I'm going to make a personal sacrifice and trust that my strength will see me through the consequences.
I think you need to tell Ysmyr the entire plan, beginning to end, before we start undertaking it.
Okay, then I'm going to send Ysmyr some messages. If anybody else wants to talk, please go ahead.
I'm just assuming they're talking to each other now.
Yeah, I'm just busy trying to, once again, keep processing what's all going on with my relationship between the party and how Harris is going to view the relationship with the party. Because it's like, it's basically three other women, me and her son. I don't think I don't know if she's going to look favorably on it.
Is she going to be coming with us?
That'd be interesting.
It would certainly make the sleeping arrangements a lot noisier.
Oh god, no.
Yep. What level do I get the silence spell?
5th, I think.
It's going to be a while.
Oh no, silence is a 2nd level spell, so you could have taken it at 3rd level even.
Okay, so when I go up to 4th level, I can take it.
Yep.
Okay, it's not too bad then. I'm going to talk to a Harris a little bit and just start gently probing. She does realize. Well, actually, let me do it in character. Harris, dear, you do realize that I need to be off with these people and help fix things.
Why?
Because they need me. If you want to come along, you do know I don't mind the claim, and I won't do anything to bring shame to you or the Jagged Tusk.
Of course you won't. I still don't understand why they need you. You play an instrument. Can't they live without that?
I quickly look her up or down. Does she have any lingering wounds, any pains?
You can see that she does have some minor wounds, scratch marks and stuff on her body.
Okay, I cast a 1st level Cure Wounds. This is why they need me.
She looks at the spot where her wounds were and looks slightly confused before saying, You're a healer like Gulaha?
It's more like I have magic in me, and I can do things that I was trained as a bard and an entertainer. I can heal, I can hurt, I can insult people to the point where I cause them pain. And as it stands now, there's nobody that can do healing except the normal way. During the worst battles against the undead, I'm the only one that can stop them from taking the wounds that make them the same.
She looks at you with a look of awe and lust. And for the rest of the party, you see all of a sudden Harris runs off to the side of the path that you'd been taking with Katiera and disappears into the woods.
Everyone, just keep your eyes forward and keep walking. They will catch up with us eventually. This is just how it is.
You kind of hear me. You kind of hear a wail from me saying, "Not now, dear. We've got time."
You guys are just going to burst out laughing. So, Tempus, do you think little brother or little sister?
I resent that.
War leader, I recognize that is a jest, but I have lost siblings. I'm sorry, but I'm not in any mood for that right now.
I'm sorry, I didn't know that.
No trouble at all. I apologize for my weakness.
That's not weakness. At least not in this band.
I'm just happy that my mother has found someone that makes her happy. I wonder if Katiara is going to have anyone to share the load, or if she had a boyfriend at the moment. She was looking when I left the tribe, you see.
Maybe when we get back, you'll find out.
You guys continue on to Nordgard, and as the city comes into view, Harris and Katiara catch up again. And so what's the plan once you get there?
We're going to, I think, try and avoid the tribe for the most part, and we're going to I don't know, Ysmyr, do you want to split the party and have us wait outside, or do you want us all to continue, together towards the gate?
I don't know if all of us need to go see the prince like you want to. Not yet, anyway. But
Yes, but we will need to have him come out of the city for the plan. So, should we approach the gate together or keep a distance?
Well, when the captain of the guard came looking for you, I told him I would take care of you. In this case, make sure you stayed away from the city for a little while. So I think I need to go with you to be like, oh, I brought him back.
Okay, then let's all head to the gate together.
Okay. You see as you approach that the gate has been closed for the night. It is getting closer to morning by the time you get back, and there are several guards standing atop the walls, and they get their bows ready as you get closer. And there's a guard standing outside the guardhouse at the gate who has his eyes on all of you, especially Harris.
It's Sergeant Ysmyr Yggdrasil Orduna, and this is my group. Please let us in.
They open up the gate for you guys and allow you entrance into the city.
All right, well, it's too early in the morning right now. I have a window to patch up. Or do we just go straight to the barracks? I guess, Ryan, would the barracks be busy or should we wait?
The barracks wouldn't be busy at this time of day, and probably by the time you got there, it would be another half an hour before the soldiers started stirring and doing morning exercises and training.
Do you think we could run into your captain along the way?
The city guard captain?
Yes.
Ryan, where can I assume he would be?
He is probably at home asleep. He was up pretty late because of the Tempus disturbance, so you wouldn't be surprised if he slept in this morning.
No, there's no chance of running into him tonight. Probably not until at least lunch.
That's a shame. I need to buy him a drink to commend him on his men almost capturing me. Very well, let us head to the prince then.
Tempus, that seems strange. Just strange.
It is a sign of respect.
I suppose so. But still, you usually sort things out before you buy the man a drink. Don't you? Wouldn't you? Probably.
Oh, also,
Never mind.
I used all of my axes when I declared war, so we should probably find a place where I can get some more.
I suspect maybe your people might have some more. That might be a better place to get more axes.
Well, we need the prince before we can face my people, so let us away to the barracks.
Sorry, Ryan. You said the barracks wouldn't be active for another half hour?
Normally, no. But as you approach the barracks, assuming you're going to the barracks first?
Yeah.
I'd like to at least.
So, Ysmyr, it's strange. There is quite a bit of activity around the barracks right now. Normally there wouldn't be, but you see several soldiers in the army as well as town guard outside the doors in the area, and the prince is brought out in chains.
What the hell's going on?
One of the town guard sees you or hears you and says, "The prince had associates in the town who assaulted the guard last night, and so just to be safe, they're taking him in."
Taking him in? Why? God damn it.
Ysmyr, if we cannot get the prince to guarantee peace between my people and the city, the factions within my tribe may burn down Nordgard itself. We must rescue the prince.
The only way to do that is to prove the prince wasn't connected to the disturbance.
Yes, I think we should. Turn me in right now.
That does include me too, right, Tempus?
No. You belong to my mother. You're not allowed to die until she says so.
Oh! What's this about anyone dying?
Well, we'll find out. Ysmyr, do you know how they're likely to proceed in trial? Can we break him out right here?
I mean, we could pretend I arrested you and say, no, I caught the person who did it. But I don't they'll believe we weren't connected.
Or I could walk up and slug the prince in the face. That would probably cause them to not believe that I had anything to do with him.
That would cause more problems of a different sort. I don't think it's a good idea. I mean, he's still the prince. You'll get us in more trouble for assaulting the prince.
Then what should we do to guarantee his freedom?
I don't know. I didn't know it was possible to arrest the prince.
Ysmyr is going to go to the soldier and just quickly ask, so do they think the prince was connected, or are they just blaming him right now?
Well, I don't really know that they know what's going on. We received orders from the council to bring him to the council hall, and they will determine what to do with him at that point.
Alternatively, after my tribe has rested, we could simply launch an assault on the city council and take the city by force anyway.
I don't think your tribe is going to be ready to attack the city. I don't think attacking the city is a good idea.
We need the city. What we have to do is convince the council that they're wrong and get them to leave the prince alone.
Mother, could you release Katiara to our person? We need his silvered tongue and word making. Would you please go to the tribe and let them know that we are working to have their ally within the city turn to our side?
She puts Katiara down and agrees to this plan and immediately runs for the gates.
I turn her way around and wave by. Now, I realize I'm your hype master, but do you really think I've got a silver tongue?
Well, yes, but
Certainly better than the rest of us.
Well, I guess I better live up to the opinion of y'all. Ysmyr, what shall we do?
I'm trying to figure that out. They're taking him to the council hall. We need to convince the council that arresting him is wrong, that...
He's the prince! Obviously arresting him is wrong.
We are thousands of miles from the cap. Miri, we are thousands of miles from the capital. If the council is calling the shots, they can get away with a lot before anything happens.
Miri, the situation for him isn't good because if you recall, he basically said he's a nobleman without a city or a nation, just a bunch of troops. So that could explain the horrible council decision. He doesn't have the leverage you would usually assume.
What if we got his troops?
Miri, may I have a word with you?
Ysmyr, what about the troops?
I haven't met them.
But I'm sure that the people here could tell us where the prince's loyal men are stationed.
Miri, we can't. That's throwing gasoline on the fire. We want to have the city stay whole, do we not? So telling a bunch of armed troops that their leader and lord has been arrested and possibly up for execution is not the way to keep everything stable inside, is it?
It won't.
I meant to call his captains to support him in
Miri, we don't know where they are. He came alone.
And I think we need to act now as they put him on trial. Sacrificing me to the council is still a viable option, but there's no guarantee that they will release the prince, whatever my testimony or however I choose to pay for my actions.
I hate to agree with you, but certain council people could see this getting two birds with one stone, taking you out, saving Yaereene's parents, and getting rid of the prince at the same time, and solidifying their hold on the city, not realizing they're just setting themselves up to be stormed by the undead.
Miri, do you remember when you were telling me about your gods?
Yes.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but when you pray to a god, you only pray to that god. They are your deity and their teachings are how you choose to live your life. Is that correct?
Yes, but a lot of them have stopped answering.
Does that mean that you...
I started praying to some of the others on the chance that maybe someone else will answer, and maybe Shoro will answer when none of the others have been answering, and I've not gotten anywhere yet.
I don't want to step between you and your deity, but if this god that your elf ancestor spoke of, if he has returned to the world, perhaps we do not need to travel to Dawnstar Lake to find the Dawnstar relic. If you can produce magic of this elder god, then that would show that the deities have returned on the side of the prince.
What?
Would you pray to Sharo? If it granted you magic, then you could cast a spell and your testimony would outweigh anything the council who have lost the mandate of their deities might say.
I suppose it's worth a shot, but I want to try it before I want to try it before I set foot in the council room, and try it before everyone and just get knocked over.
We are either going to the council to talk to them, try and talk some sense into them. We're either, don't want to say it, but we're either finding a way to get the prince out of this mess in a different fashion, or we need a distraction.
Sorrow, God of the Dawn, give me a bit of your light. And I'm casting light.
It works.
It works?
It works.
Miri!
Well then.
All right, then let's try this.
So, we're going to talk to the council on the prince's...
Yes.
All right, let's follow those guards.
Okay, you follow the guards, and there are a fair number of them, probably at least a dozen soldiers and a couple of town guards as well, and they lead him to the city council as dawn breaks. And yeah, you can see that it's quite quiet at City Hall right now.
Is there any guards barring our entrance?
No.
I'm going to hand over all of my weaponry to Yaereene and ask her to carry that stuff for me.
Okay.
And I think unless anybody else has anything else, we'll enter in.
Okay. You enter into the city hall, and there is a woman sitting behind the desk again and looks up at all of you and says, "Yes, how can I help you?"
I'm going to look at the group and say, "We would like to speak with the council, and we would like to be the first ones to do so with no appointments, please."
Well, you are early enough. Beat the rush, as it were. I believe the council is currently in session. However, they do have one person that they're seeing before you.
Who's that?
I'm not sure I'm at liberty to say.
I kind of lean over the desk, and I'm going, "Now, dear, there's nobody else around. Obviously, we have the best intentions, so you can tell us." And I try and roll persuasion.
Yeah, I'll give that to you.
Damn it!
She remains tight-lipped and says, I'm sorry, it could cost me my job to talk about matters that I'm not supposed to speak of, but you can go and wait outside the council chamber until they're ready for you.
I'm going to look down the hallway. There's no guards between us and the council chamber?
There are a couple of guards outside the closed council chamber doors.
Ysmyr, would you like to try and talk us in, or should I just break down the door?
Well, Ysmyr's going to approach this. If it has to do with Prince Bartimus, we are here for that. So could you please let us in?
Oh, well, then, yes, of course. Just go to the guards and tell them that you're here for to see Prince Bartimus.
Perfect, thank you. And then she'll give the woman a nod and lead the others along.
Okay.
I turn back and I just go, "Sorry, dear. That's what I meant. I'm sorry I wasn't playing her."
No worries. And you guys approach the council chamber, and the guards at the door cross halberds in front of it.
I have someone connected to the disturbance that the prince has been accused of, I suppose. Please let us through.
Yes, sir. And they uncross their halberds and open the door for you.
Oh, didn't expect that to work, so she takes a deep breath and glances to the others, and if they seem ready, I guess she'll lead them in.
Okay. So you enter the chamber, and you see before you Prince Bardamus standing before the council. 4 of the 5 chairs are filled by counselors. There is a guard undoing the chains that currently hold Prince Bardamus, and he kind of stretches his wrists and flexes his hands. Horace Damlin says, "Terribly sorry, Prince, terribly sorry. You understand how the optics of how this looks with the criminals running around town and people having seen you in this very chamber speaking with them earlier. We had to ensure your safety."
We'll hang back and listen for a minute.
The prince nods and says, "I had no idea that they were such troublemakers when I spoke with them. They seemed honest and good from what I had thought. It shakes me to my very core that they could have acted in such a way." Horace says, Yes, well, I mean, the orc thing did declare war on us. I can't say I'm surprised that this is the way things happened." The halfling counselor coughs gently in his hand and points at you guys at the door. And at that moment, Horace stands and says, "Guards! There they are! Apprehend them immediately!"
Are you not mad enough to try it yourself,
And-
fat man?
Tempus.
Sorry, bad habits.
About that?
Ysmyr is actually approach hands up.
Okay, you approach the council.
We are not here to cause trouble. We are here to right a wrong. If you would listen, we want to find a way to make first that awful situation last night better, and also address the orc clan that is outside our doors. We have a way that might bring a more peaceful venture to work out between the city and this clan.
Can you make a persuasion roll, please?
Hang on. I'm throwing bardic inspiration on her.
Okay.
What's that do?
So that
That's a good
gives
time.
you, at your choice, the ability to add a D6. You've got 10 minutes that you can use it in game time. You can use it after you see your roll, but not before Orion says what the outcome of the roll is.
Not after I say what the outcome is.
Right. You have to declare after rolling, but before he says anything about what that ends up.
Whether you succeeded or not.
Okay. You said persuasion?
Yep.
All
of the counselors are willing to hear you out, although Horace remains standing with his hand on his sword, and he's glaring at Tempus.
right. Now, what happened last night, I was not a part of, and I did not approve of it. Most of us did not. I want to say that clearly. But what it comes from is a misunderstanding between cultures, and we seek to make restitution. And not only that, you are all clearly aware of the orc clan outside. Tempus here is part of that clan, and he came to the city to try and open trade between our people. And while it hasn't gone well, we don't want that avenue closed yet. Instead, we want to find a way for the two groups to come together so that as our city and our people struggle, we work together to keep from failing. I will let Tempus speak for himself on his actions, but I just ask that you listen.
Horace turns to the other counselors and says, "Are we really going to listen to this orc thing that attempted to wage war on the city, and now he has his kin outside the walls? This is madness."
Ysmyr will just pipe up and say, you were forewarned. Last time he was here, he did let you know.
The half-elf counselor leans forward and she says, "You speak of trade. Tell me, what trade do your people bring?
And Ysmyr will gesture to Tempus and stand aside.
Ivory and ambergris. Amber and the finest of furs.
The halfling councilman perks up at these words and says, Amber? Well, that certainly sounds something that we'd be interested in trading. What do your people seek?
In happier times we would have sought steel and iron. Now we seek a place to stay, a haven to start.
Again, Horace says, it's ridiculous. We're going to allow these animals inside the city walls. You saw what he did. You heard what Tomarin Dowreth said. He declared war on their house. These orcs can't be trusted.
If I may speak,
The half-elf says, yes, you may.
would you say that a orc tribe the size of the Jagged Tusk would be a fearsome military might?
From what we've seen, they're a ragged group that's been
Horace,
through.
I'm asking educated people that know about military.
Yara, watch it.
I didn't say anything
No.
about him personally.
You almost did.
I apologize. May my remarks be stricken from the record, and instead I would ask those that have military knowledge to comment on my question.
The prince defers to Horace, saying, Horace here tends to oversee the more militaristic aspects of the city and ensuring its safety. I'm sure he could speak to you on these matters that you're curious about.
Also, Prince, did you not say that you came here seeking a refuge against the hordes of the undead coming?
No, I seek arms. I seek people to help us repel the undead back home.
Aye. Thank you for correcting me. So, you in your city, what is the size of your city and its military compared to this?
When I left, my city is quite a bit larger than Nordgard, with ample forces to protect it. That is why I left, because I felt that they could fend for themselves while I took a few ships north to see if we could find more aid to throw off the undead invasion.
But at the same time, you took a look at the size of your forces and realized that you needed more to fend off what was coming. Is that not true?
Yes, that is very true.
Now, comparing the military might and size of your city against the Orc tribe, I would roughly say that while the Orc tribe might be troublesome, they would not be something that you're seeking aid from.
It has crossed my mind since speaking with your friend here, Tempus, I believe, that the orcs may have warriors who would be able to help us. And honestly, I seek every arm I can find, for the undead are tireless and numerous, and we need all of the help we can get.
Wise words, my prince. Wise words. Now, laying down further on the path of logic that I tried to seek, this tribe, which Horace has unfortunately commented somewhat close to the truth, is now in dire need of assistance and a haven, because they've come up against the undead. Undead that even the Prince's City, which is much bigger than ours, is looking for aid to fend off. Does it not reason then to bring in these orcs, make them part of our forces, secure them, gain their trust, show them that it's better to stand with us than against us? I move that it makes more sense, regardless of Tempus's mistakes, that adding the orcs to this city forces is a smarter move than leaving us weak without them and outclassed by the hordes coming against us. Thank you.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend, after all.
What hordes? There are no hordes in the north. From what the princes said,
Horace,
all of the
do you
undead
not
forces are in
remember?
the south.
Horace, The undead are here. Do you not
My
pay
lord.
any attention?
We repelled them.
And part of it was this group giving advance warning and being in the thick of it. Was it not?
My lord, do you know how many of your clerics are actually capable of fighting right now?
We can put a mace in their hands and they can fight as well as
Do
most
you
of our
know
guards.
how many of your clerics have their power from their gods?
The followers of Yondala have claimed that they still have their powers, but yes, it is indeed troubling that many others appear to have lost the will of the gods.
Foltus, Palor, Torm. Those are three very large deities. Or rather, three deities with very large followings, whose clerics have no power now. We need every hand that we can get to keep Nordgard safe.
I'm not certain that having them inside the city would make Nordgard safe, but what I would propose is allowing the orcs to go south with the prince and keep the kingdom safe there.
I will
Can I
point
ask
out
them a week to recover within Nordgard before sending them south.
And I would point out that, yes, we know the hordes are coming from the south, but we have not seen the north. But the tribe... Sorry, guys. Which direction did the tribe come from?
They
The
came from the
tribe-
north.
But the tribe came from the north, and they are claiming that they face the undead. Nordgard is likely about to be surrounded, and even if it is not true, is it better to be prepared than regret later and lose everything?
The human counselor, who has so far remained quiet throughout, says, Horace, last I checked, this is a council, not your personal kingdom. If there is a decision to be made, we should put it to a vote. And you can see that Horace shoots daggers at the other human on the council, but he takes his seat.
Now, I also want to address there is still the problem of last night, but we are willing to work with the council to rectify that as well once they've made their decisions.
If I may address the council before your vote.
Yes, you may speak.
I give him my last bardic inspiration.
I understand that, from the words of my companions, I broke several of your so-called laws last night. And I regret that. I regret the pain that I have caused to my companions, and I regret that we are now in this situation where we are fighting each other instead of the undead threat. And so I will offer up myself to your justice, but do not punish my people in exchange for some petty grievance. The Orc are a proud people, and we match honor with honor and insults with insults. And I'll shoot a little glare at Horace at this point. I responded to Yaereene's family because they insulted her and threatened my companions. As an orc, I did the right thing. If that is wrong by your laws, then let me be the one to pay, not the prince and not my tribe. Do you want to roll or anything?
Yes, give me a persuasion, please.
Okay, I'm going to roll it unmodified, but if KTR has given me his bardic inspiration, here it comes.
You can add a d6 to that before you hear the outcome.
Oh, I also forgot to mention that you guys do have DM inspirations as well. I was supposed to mention that at the start of the game, because everybody always forgets.
Well, 16 sounds pretty good, but you could throw... Can you throw inspiration on top of bardic inspiration? I think you can.
I could have rolled it. I could have rolled at advantage, but I should have declared it beforehand. I'm going to stick with the 16. I'm probably going to need inspiration to survive my mother.
Okay.
2 and 2.
You see that Horace is obviously dead set against you. Also, the human woman that he was at odds with just a moment before appears uncertain, but the halfling and the half-elf are nodding that they would agree to those terms.
Punishment would you propose to me for the crimes I committed?
For declaring war on a noble family, terrorizing them. Oh, they're an old family. And wait, is that Yaereene? Are you there?
Yes, it's me.
You travel with this orc?
He protects me.
While threatening your family, you should have heard your father. He was terrified.
He was angry.
I start slowly playing a supportive tune.
Ysmyr's just going to hold her hand out to Yaereene if she wants to step forward.
Yep, she will.
And if she takes her hand, she'll give it a squeeze and be like, you can do this.
My father was angry, not scared.
Well, either way, the way that this orc behaved in your house, I thought you would be more supportive of your family.
According to them, I don't have them.
The human woman says, well, Horace, if you wish to seek justice against this orc, I must point out that he did not harm anybody. He certainly threatened harm, so I'm in agreement with you that something must be done. But temper it. And Horace kind of deflates a little bit at her words and says, would it be too much to give him lashes?
We need him to help fight the undead.
How many lashes would you propose?
I would propose a great many. And again, the human woman shakes her head, and he says,
We need him to help fight the undead.
Yes, he'll be able to fight the undead with a lashed back. Very well.
Would you say 30 would be a fair number?
That was even more than I was going to suggest. But
then double 60 lashes on
Tempus.
condition that the prince be the one to deliver them.
30, and the prince can deliver them in front of Tempus's own people to drive home
please.
that the prince
30
is
lashes.
leader.
30 lashes is extreme. I would suggest that, given the crime, perhaps half a dozen would be sufficient. And Horace kind of grumbles.
If that is what you deem worthy, then I would agree with that.
But I'm delivering them, Horace says.
You get to deliver half. The prince gets the other half.
I really don't want anything to do with this.
It's necessary, my lord. Trust me.
Very well.
You earlier said we were honest. We would not be here if we were not trying to help. Even this.
The halfling appears bored with all of the discussion of lashes and whatnot and says, yes, well, if we've decided on that bit of drama, perhaps we could move on to the other issues at hand. For instance, the trade that was recommended. I would move that the council would vote on trade with the orcs, their amber and furs for a safe place to stay inside our walls. It certainly sounds more than fair to me. We may even be able to throw in some iron weapons. The half-elf shakes her head and says, I'm afraid we might not be able to do that. According to my husband, a shipment of iron failed to come in recently. We may not have the steel to lend.
Tribe will make do, and we may be able to help you with your iron shipment. Would the council consider one other thing? Would you allow the Jagged Tusk to recruit from among your people?
How do you mean recruit? What would they be recruiting people from Nordgard for?
Any criminal who wishes to pledge to the Jagged Tusk will be pardoned from their crimes, any debtor forgiven their debts, and from that day forward, they're an orc, and they belong to the tribe.
The council all looks at each other. Please give me a persuasion check.
I'm going to use my inspiration for that one.
Well, you roll first, then decide.
No, the DM inspiration he needs to declare first.
Ah, okay.
That was performance.
I think we caught everyone off guard with that.
That's the same as your persuasion, though, right?
No, it's the wrong roll. I get to do it again.
I'm going to take that roll, but I'm just wondering if the modifier is the same.
Absolutely, it is.
Are you going to use your bardic inspiration, or just giving up with that bad a roll?
I already used inspiration.
Okay.
They refuse outright to allow criminals to leave jail to join forces with the orcs who they're uncertain about.
Yeah, but I have to try.
That's fair.
I thought he meant the kind of recruiting that Harris did with Katera.
Is there a difference?
Oh, dear.
Oh, yeah, there's a difference.
When it comes to vote, Horus, unsurprisingly, does not want the orcs in the city. The half-elf says that her husband, Burrs, who is a half-orc blacksmith, would be very interested in meeting some of his kin from outside the city, so she will vote for it. House Bell has always embraced multiculturalism and the mosaic of different people who fill the city, and is happy to welcome the orcs and in this trade. And the halfling, Yaereene, says that he is happy to see where this goes and is interested in obtaining some of the amber in trade for himself. So with 3-1, the orcs are allowed to enter the city.
Further to that, our cleric has something that she needs from one of your number. We have word of your gods.
Well, not exactly. It is more that while our current gods that we know are not able to respond, I have been able to get a response from one of the elder gods. And with a prayer to Sharo, she casts lightning. Or not lightning, light. Light.
I was going to say,
And
lightning. That's
That might just ruin everything we did.
Yes.
she just opens her hand and presents a bowl of light.
They are all surprised to see this power come from you, because a couple of them do know of your work around the city, and they had heard that Foltus had failed quite some time ago, and they want to know more.
I give them what little I can, explaining that an elder god of light is answering again. And I give them the name Sharo, elven god of the sun.
They all draw a blank. They say that you need to go to the Temple of Pelor immediately after this meeting and share this news with them, because as followers of the light, they will definitely be interested in regaining the power of the light.
Miri, I think you need to make some morale.
What?
I think you need to go visit a few temples.
And make some morale. At the same time, we need to go to the lake in the north and see if we can get that weapon.
We've got a few things to worry about.
The counselor from House Bell says that, she says, perhaps if you traveled to the Temple of Pelor, which is nearby, they could spread the word through the rest of the city. If this god that you speak of is willing to accept them as new followers.
Yes, I learned of this god in the Temple of the Sun, off to the north. And we also learned in that same place of something that might be of use in fighting the undead. We need to go and retrieve it from a lake off to the north.
Well, then we wish you luck in your journeys, but please do travel to the Temple of Pelor first.
Of course. Of course. Thank you, Counselor.
And,
that's all Miri's got to get.
Okay. So they ask if there are any other motions that you bring before the council.
We would like to discuss my cleric's found powers with the Counselor Yaereene.
That's not a motion for the council, Tempus.
Well, then what is it?
It would be a personal meeting.
We want a personal meeting.
Oh, yes. Very well. I see no other people in line this early in the morning, so I can speak with you for a little bit.
All right. It shouldn't take terribly long. But it doesn't involve any of the other counselors. And it does involve a book from my pack.
Very well.
I thought Ysmyr was carrying it. Sorry.
From somebody's pack. Sorry, I'm not sure where the book is.
We're probably sharing it. It's fine.
Is Yuri amendable to meeting us like a little bit later at the day at like say neutral territory, like the Lock and Key Inn?
I'm really not comfortable going back to the Lock and Key now.
They have side chambers here that he could use to talk to you right now if you wanted.
Do we want to talk to him now, or do we want to deal with the prince and the punishment first? Because honestly, I'm kind of tempted to just grab him and shake him until information falls out of him once we get him in a private room.
Why not have Tempus and folk go deal with the punishment while Miri goes to talk to Yuri in a private back room for a minute?
Ysmyr wanted to talk to Yuri, though, too, because she was reading the book as well. But she's also been a big influence on the Tempus situation, so...
Tempus, would you like to deal with the crime and punishment aspect first?
Oh, absolutely.
I feel I need to be part of this.
Okay, so you can go with Tempus. Yaereene, would you rather go with Tempus for the punishment or speak with Yuri?
Oh, punishment sounds way better than speaking.
Fair enough. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So Kaitiera, Tempus, and Yaereene leave with the prince and Horus, and several guards as well, and head out through the northern gate back towards the orc encampment. How do you see this going, Tempus?
Well, I'd like to talk to the prince on the way, if he's willing to, considering that we got him thrown in chains.
Yes, he's willing to talk to you.
Prince Bertemius, I'm sorry for what happened and for our part in you being thrown in irons.
I have to say it was not a pleasant experience, but given everything that's been happening lately and all the insanity, it is something that can be forgiven if your people are willing to help us against the much greater threat of the undead.
You must understand about my people is that we are not necessarily completely unified. Like the Norsemen, we have our factions and our opinions, and we disagree. And, well, let's just say not all of them are going to be happy being at peace with the city of Nordgard, especially after they invite us in through the front gate. And that's where you come in, and why it is so very important that you take part in the punishment I am to face.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
My people are going to deal with you, not with the racists of this city, not with people like Horus, with you. You have shown yourself to be a good and honorable man, and in order for you to never have to worry about this kind of thing happening again, you're going to have my tribe at your back the next time they think to even say no to you. But in order to do that, in order to silence the critics without and within, they need to see you as a warrior. They need to see you as blooded. You need to take responsibility for the actions of your followers, and that means you are going to lash me until they respect you.
The plan was for me to only lash you 3 times. How many times will the orcs require for you before they respect me?
I'd appreciate it if you stopped before you exposed bone, but definitely keep going until I pass out.
Very well.
Perfect. Now, and then I'm going to give him the skimmy on important personalities within the Jagged Tusk and just sort of explain the political dynamics that he's going to have to confront. My mother is good. Trying to remember her name just now. It is Lawlin. Lawlin is bad. Don't trust Lawlin. She is awful. If Trident gives him any guff, just slap the old the teeth because that's the only way he's ever going to respect him, and he can lean on my siblings to watch his back. That being, Kinsley, Kurgar, and Burrod, who I believe are the only ones that are left at this point. And yeah, that I'm just going to give him the dynamic of the Jagged Tusk, and basically I'm setting them up that they're going to be his army, not Nordgard's, and that if he plays his cards right, they'll be able to help him launch an assault on the capital to try and relieve his father, as well as when we go into the woods, I'm going to be sending as many orcs as I can back to the city, and if I can, I might also be sending goblins or ogres, whoever I can find that might be willing to work with him, and basically, if he looks after my people and keeps the council off his back, I'm going to find him his army.
Okay, that's a lot for him to take in, but he is desperate for any help that he can get, so he agrees to your plan.
Sweet.
And you march up to the Orcish tribe. At this point, Horus unfurls a whip, and he shouts out to the orcs, "This orc has broken our laws, and as such is to be punished. Kneel, orc."
I'm going to smile over at the tribe, and then unhurriedly I'm going to remove my clothing, smile at Horus, and I'm going to kneel facing him, and I'm just going to whisper, "This doesn't change anything, you know."
That may be so, but I'm going to enjoy this. And he hauls back the whip and lashes you across the chest.
Harder!
And you take 6 points of damage from the first lash.
Put some back into it, little man.
He hits you again for an additional 7 points of damage.
Come now, give it all you got.
Yaereene is glaring at Horus now.
And he lashes you again for an additional 5 points of damage. And he's got a big smile on his face as he hands the whip over to Prince Bartemius.
Just a point of order. I was at 17 hit points, and I'm assuming I didn't get to finish like my long rest or anything that would have allowed me to gain health back. Is that true?
That's correct.
Then I'm using my Orcish Fortitude, and I'm standing at 1 health.
Okay.
Not letting him get out now.
Hell no.
So Prince Bartemius takes the whip, and he looks at you, obviously trying to hide his discomfort with this, and raises the whip and really gives it to you. And you take an additional 5 points of damage.
And for the first time in the campaign, Tempus is unconscious.
The orcs look on stoically, unmoved by the justice that has been handed out here, and go about their business.
Yaereene goes over to try and help. Can she use medicine on him to stabilize him?
Yes, you
He's
can.
not stable? Okay, with a great try. Holy
Yeah.
moly!
You managed to stabilize
Good.
him.
Wow, pretty impressive. I start strumming a tune quietly, but full of major chords, basically triumphant.
Okay. So unless anything happens to heal Tempus, he's going to be unconscious for 4 hours.
I don't have that ability.
I'm going to burn my last cure wound slot on giving him some healing.
Okay. So Tempus, you're back up to 8 health, and you wake up.
How many welts on my chest?
You still have the 3 slashes across your chest. They're not openly bleeding anymore.
Well, that's like just quickly gauging a look over to the orcs. Do they look suitably impressed, or?
When they glance your direction, they give you nods of appreciation, but they're not all like standing around doing much else other than that, because they're a stoic bunch, and they just saw Tempus take his lumps for breaking the law, and it's done now.
Well, all right, take what I can get. In that case, after Katiara cures me, I'm going to look up at Yaereene, who is administering medicine, and I'm going to say, "Thank you, Yaereene, for your tender care."
No problem. Thank you for
Is Harris around?
She is.
I look over to her. Does she seem miffed that I actually woke him up from being unconscious?
No, she is looking at you in a way that you think looks like she's quite impressed with your magical prowess.
I nod to her, and then I pat Yaereene on the shoulder, and I say, "Nice doing, lass. Thank you for making it easier.
Harris frowns as you pat Yaereene.
I immediately turn my back on Yaereene and walk towards Harris, opening my arms.
She takes you into her arms and runs off with you once more.
Oh, Lord.
We should probably wait until I can explain the political ramifications to my mother and she can begin working with the prince, Yaereene. But we might have to wait an hour or two. So, I don't know. Wanna make conversation and stand around?
Conversation?
Let's go find cool rocks. Whoever finds the coolest rock wins.
Okay. She's way better at that than conversation.
You two are like the most brother or sister pair of the group. It's great.
Why did you roll stealth, Tempus?
I was trying to roll investigation to find a cool rock.
Oh, that's neat.
Katiara, you don't get to roll investigation for a cool rock. You're off being busy.
I got his roll.
Yaereene finds the cooler rock. In the meantime, Ysmyr, we'll start off the discussions with Yuri, with you, and Miri can just jump in whenever she gets back.
All right.
He takes you off into a side chamber. It's not a large room, but there's a table and a few chairs around it. And he waves to the chairs for you to have a seat.
Thank you. And then Ysmyr takes the seat and kind of waits.
Yes, so you mentioned that you wanted to speak with me privately. Can we make this as quick as possible, please?
Well, we can try.
Okay, I'm back.
Oh, good timing.
I found the coolest rock.
You found a rock?
The coolest one.
Nice! Crystals are awesome.
Thanks. Go on with your business now, guys.
Ysmyr was just about to explain to Yuri why they wanted to talk to him. And then we can jump into our questions.
Ysmyr has the book?
We were sharing.
Okay. So, well, to explain the reason that we need to talk to you, the first thing is we need that book. Who's got it?
I've got the book. So we discovered this journal on an assassin that killed Jean Delar at the Temple of the Sun. And you are named in it, and we have some questions.
Really? Can I see the book, please?
Ysmyr will glance to Miri and make sure she's okay with her handing over the book.
Mary nods.
Okay, then Ysmyr hands it over.
As soon as you take it out, he says, Hogarth. An assassin, you say? He didn't strike me as the type.
Well, he certainly seemed like an assassin, considering that he killed Elder Morningsun.
That is curious. He hadn't mentioned anything about wanting to kill anybody. He was simply asking me for anyone who might have information about various religious things and ancient history. And, well, frankly, Nordgard is not what you would call high
Bursting at the
class.
seams with people who know the ancient history. Elder Morningsun was.
My own personal library is what drew Hogarth to speak with me. However, she did not find anything of interest there, and so I pointed him towards the Temple of the Sun, where he might find more information about the sorts of things he was looking for. He was rather guarded quite often, and didn't go into great detail about what he was looking for, but he certainly didn't strike me as a killer.
He, in the journal, he mentioned that he intended to destroy all the information regarding a Glothor, and he didn't mention it to you because you probably wouldn't approve.
Well, that makes sense. I certainly don't know anything about a Glothor. The name is completely foreign to me. I dare say I probably should have opened up the diary that he left in my possession and see if there was any information in there. However, I am rather busy, and it was a daunting task to read his diaries, and I just never got around to it. However, if you think it might be helpful in illuminating anything, I could certainly go and retrieve it for you.
If you don't mind, I think it would be helpful, and we do have the time in between treks on our journey northward.
Very well. I'd be happy to help you, and perhaps this will help figure out why Hogarth would have slain Jean Delar. I'm terribly sorry to hear about his passing. I rather liked Jean Delar. He didn't come to town very often, but I had been out to visit him once or twice when I had my own questions about history. He always gave me more than I needed in any conversation that I had with him, but that was part of his charm.
Indeed it was. And I shall miss him dearly.
But yes, I'll head back to my manor quickly and return with the book as soon as I can. Will you wait here for me, or shall I meet you at the Temple of Pelor? Because I know that the council had asked you to go there as quickly as possible.
If you would not mind meeting us at the Temple of Pelor, I should like to have that done so that we can set off on our journey northward and see if we can stop this horde as fast as possible.
Very well. I shall meet you there.
Thank you, Councilman.
Well, thank you. This was most illuminating, and perhaps I shall trust the next vagabond who wanders into my life and seems interested in history. Treat them a little bit with a bit more caution, certainly with a sense of self-preservation in case they turn out to be a murderer. But yes, I will see you at the temple soon.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you.
And with that, he leaves the council chamber and heads off.
All right.
And we'll head off to the Temple of Pelor.
Yeah. I'm assuming we still have our cart with the tablets as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
I don't think the party would have taken those when they know that you were planning on going to the temple.
Well, Miri, this is probably more suited to you, but I'll stick around just for backup, I suppose.
That's probably a good idea.
And I guess we go to the Temple of Pelor.
Okay, it's not too far away. It's just across the bridge and fairly close to City Hall, as it was the most prominent temple in town with the largest number of followers. And yeah, you find a few people in there. It's certainly not as busy as what it had used to be.
I suspect Miri is immediately recognizable.
Yep.
Who's going to let her take the lead?
Yeah, so probably she'll get an instant response when she asks to speak to the head priest.
Yep. Yeah, the head priest will speak with you.
Miri will explain about learning of Shiro, learning of the past, speaking with Elder Morning Sun at the Temple of the Sun. How much do you want to do the role play of this, or?
We don't have to role play it out. If you just want to tell me the main things that you're telling them about.
Basically, she's going to explain about what they saw in the depths of the catacombs underneath the Temple of the Sun. Describe the tablets, describe the connection she found with Shiro, and she's probably going to give them the tablets if they sound receptive at all to her display of the connection with Shiro.
I'm going to say
She will do that past light as well.
Okay. Some of the clergy are extremely interested in this finding and the fact that there is still a god of light, even if it's not Pelor, while others are uneasy about trusting an unknown god. When you show them the tablets, most of them can't read them, although there are a few elves and half-elves who read them.
Ysmyr will read it out if they ask, because she can read them.
Okay. And they confer amongst themselves, and they're not entirely certain that it's an elven god from the writings, but there's no doubt that it was written in Elven. So one of the humans who had previously followed Pelor comes forward to offer his prayers to Shiro to see if anything happens. And sure enough, he is also able to cast a spell of light immediately upon praying to Shiro. And this generates a lot of excitement amongst the people who are already excited about it. For the others, even more caution, because they don't know what this god of light represents based on the tablets, or at least they're not 100% certain about it, and they wish to remain faithful to Pelor even in these troubled times. So they have some internal discussions that they're going to have amongst the faithful. But for those who are excited about it, you see them kneeling and praying to Shiro and having a similar success with their magic. Nobody has like higher level spell slots at this point, but they at least are feeling the divine again and are able to summon some form of magic for the first time in months. And there's a great deal of excitement among them because of that.
Are they willing to take the tablets and at least hold them safe?
Yes, they are willing to house the tablets and study them further, see if they can divine any more meaning from it now that some of them have the ability to at least have power. Maybe they will be able to commune with Shiro and learn more.
So perhaps in the end, what will happen is that we will build another temple to Shiro. And perhaps in the end, we'll be able to reconnect with the gods that we've grown up with. I hope that that is so. But for now, Shiro is able to give us the power that we need. The power that we need to fight off the menace of the undead. And for me, that is enough. And I beg that you use whatever power is available to guard this place so that it still stands. And I shall go out and I shall seek the power that will turn the tide and banish the undead once more from this world. And if I can break the chains that have bound our gods away from us, then I shall. In Sharo's name, or in Pelor's, or in Foltus's, or in the names of any god I can find, I will break the chains and I will make the world safe again. This do I declare, upon my honor, as a cleric.
Some of the clerics offer you a polite applause, while the others are still seeming kind of standoffish and uncertain. One of them says, "If all we wanted was magic, we could have turned to Yondola, who is still providing their followers with magic powers. This is about faith in a god and dedicated service for our entire lives. We will not so easily turn away from Pelor just for magic."
And I understand. Truly I do. But if Sharo can help me fight this fight, then I will use that.
Okay. So you have delivered the tablets and converted some people to Shiro. Is there anything else that you'd like to do here before you go?
Wait for Yuri.
Okay.
Yes.
It's not long.
Here, and I'm going to talk to the others and ask them to spread the word. Those who are willing to believe in Shiro, I am going to ask them to spread the word and let other people know that this is a god that does still have power.
Okay, and a portion of the people that you have converted do say that they will talk to other faithful who have lost contact with their gods and see if they have any luck converting them to Shiro. And once you're done talking to the clergy, Yuri approaches the temple with a book in hand that looks remarkably like the one that you found on the assassin's body.
Thank you. Ysmyr will take it for now, I guess.
Okay.
So you didn't have much of a chance to read this?
No. Truth be told, I haven't even cracked it open yet. It didn't seem like it would be terribly important, and I was half expecting Hogarth to return and claim the book when he continued his travels.
He likely won't. He was taken out by someone called Eurus, I believe.
Well, that name means nothing to me. He didn't mention it while he was staying with me.
Well, maybe that's a good thing. But if you ever hear about, what was it? Yours Dark, I'd be careful.
Yes, I will definitely be cautious if I hear that name mentioned.
Good. And again, thank you for your help. I suppose if we have more history questions, would we be able to come to you again?
Of course, I am always willing to let those who seek knowledge use my libraries.
Well, there's a few things I might want to look up later. Thank you.
You're welcome. Now I must return to the council. I'm sure they have people waiting on decisions, and well, frankly, I like to listen and cast a vote. I don't necessarily trust the other three to run things without me.
Understandable. Thank you very much for all of your assistance, sir.
You're most welcome. Take care now.
You too. And Ysmyr will give him a slight bow. And yeah, we'll go from there. I don't know if we should open this here, Miri, or if we should find the others and catch up later.
Let's get going first. We can open it when we make camp on the road.
Oh, that reminds me. Before we were leaving, I meant to go get a shop a little bit, but I got distracted. Do you think we have time, or should we just go find the others?
Let's hit the shops real quick before we find them. But you and I going shopping by ourselves is likely to be a quieter trip.
Exactly. And Ryan, if it helps, I'm willing to do that outside of chat just so we can keep moving.
That's no problem. Yeah, it is a bit of a walk to the shops from here. It'll take you almost an hour to get there, and then it'll be another hour to get back out of town. So it'll be later in the morning, and you guys didn't get a long rest last night, so you are feeling sleepy. Even you did have a short rest, so I'm not going to make you roll exhaustion rolls or anything. I'm just letting you know how things are going.
Need a nap soon. Okay.
Okay, so you guys get back out of town, and it's a little later in the morning by the time you guys all get back together at the orc camp.
So, how did your talk with the assassin's master go?
He's not the assassin's master, Tempus, and apparently the man wasn't... Although he killed Jean Delar, he wasn't an actual practicing assassin. That we know of yet.
I don't understand. Perhaps you could explain it to me?
He just seemed to target Jean Delar specifically for the knowledge he held. He didn't want it shared. And Yuri didn't know about that. Although Yuri was able to give us Hogarth. Apparently his name is Hogarth. Yuri was able to give us Hogarth's other diary, which we'll have to read and see if we can get any more information from that.
Very well. Then what is our plan going forward?
We need to get that Daystar out of the lake.
Then are we setting to?
But we take a quick rest and then go.
Okay. So are we going to rest in the city, or are we going to hang out with the orcs, or what?
I thought we met up at the orc tribe.
Yep. So are we going to head back into Ysmyr's cottage, or what are we doing?
We're not coming near her cottage for a while, just saying.
But Ysmyr, slumber party.
No!
Still is missing a window, Tempus.
Yeah, Tempus is going to ask if you would like any kind of payment for that to help fix it, because he feels a little bit sheepish about it.
Yeah, I'll probably need it.
He gives you his 9 gold.
Okay.
It's all he has.
She's gonna take like 3 and give the rest back. I don't know how much a window would cost, but I'm assuming glass is still an expensive thing. So,
you guys, are you taking a short rest or a long rest?
I would like a long rest, please.
yeah. Tempus is still rough, and Miri needs to get in tune with her new god a bit. Stuff like that.
Okay. So yeah, with the orcs here, they have heard that they have been allowed entry into the city, and they're doing it in kind of a phased way. So there will be orcs there in the camp with you. They're not all going in one big group and abandoning you while you sleep. But you don't have to worry about setting a guard or anything. So it'll be it might be a little bit of a faster sleep than what it would normally be if you had to set guards.
Yeah, I imagine that the injured orcs are probably going to need to stay put for a bit.
Yep. So it is afternoon by the time you guys finish your long rest, and everybody's all powered up.
We recover 1 plus con after a long rest, is that correct?
Yep.
I don't think I got hurt by anything.
Yeah, I don't think you guys got into any fights, Miri, so you should be fine.
Yeah, and I think any spells I inadvertently spit are fixed now. Unless I get a surprise.
Oh yeah, surprise.
Please no.
You have 2 spell slots, right?
Yep.
You're fine, you've got them both. Your patron is irritated that you still haven't found anything for him.
Even while shopping?
Yeah, you didn't have enough money to buy the really nice stuff.
Dang. Just note, she didn't mention that to any of you.
Yeah.
Could really use a bag of holding full of money right now.
Yeah, Tempus is at maximum sheepishness, so that just rolls off his back.
Well, she wouldn't admit what she's buying and why.
Well, you did mention to me previously that you wanted a magical weapon. So, Ryan, out of curiosity, you did say that out of the Iron Hands, only Kaelin made it, right? Her brother did not make it out of the Orc tribe?
That's correct.
What about Rogatar? Was he with the tribe?
Rogatar was with the tribe at the time, but he has since... Oh, that's not the goblin, right?
And no, he's the merchanty one.
Yeah, so he's still alive.
I'll tell Ysmyr that there's an orc among the tribe that might be able to help her out.
Huh. Okay.
I'll just warn her that he's called Rogatar the Liar. He's known as having like a number of small magical items for sale, and that for the most part, people typically don't trust him, and most people claim that his goods are cursed or flawed in some way. So, yeah, if Ysmyr is interested, we can go find Rogatar and see if he's got anything that might fit the bill for her to buy from.
And with an intro like that, how can you go wrong?
I guess she'll take a look, but he's really not sure. That didn't inspire her very much.
What, the fact he's called Rogatar the Liar?
All of the above.
Okay, yeah, you can find Rogatar.
And I will just introduce Ysmyr and say that this is my war leader and she would like to buy something from you.
Oh, a war leader, eh? Very interesting. I have many good goods for one of such prominence as yourself.
Really? Well, I'm here to look, so let's see if you impress me.
Yes. Here. And he unrolls some fabric, and you can see inside he has several objects laid out. There's a couple of rings and a pendant, a dagger, a brooch, and a circlet.
What's that dagger?
Oh, a discerning buyer. Yes. This dagger, and he picks it up and handles it gingerly, and you can see that the blade is it's kind of got a wavy design to it. It's not a straight blade, and there are runes scratched into it. It's not like it was pressed in, and the dagger. Well, you can give me an investigation check if you want to check it out closer.
Sure.
And he says, this dagger, I got it off of a goblin shaman who was causing trouble for the tribe a while back, and I found out that this magical dagger that he created is quite powerful.
Insight on him?
Sure.
By the way, is Yaereene in close enough distance to be observing any of this?
You can be if you want to.
I'd like to.
He's definitely overselling this thing, and you're not he's lying about something. and you beat him by enough to know that when he emphasized the words "quite powerful" when describing the dagger, you don't get the sense that he's being truthful about that. The rest of the story kind of sounded reasonable until he got to that point.
The goblin had something powerful.
Well, yes, he was a shaman, as I said, and they can create incredibly powerful and useful magical items.
Huh. Sorry, just thinking. Can I see it? Oh, what was that, Yaereene?
Nope, go ahead. If you're talking, you're going.
Well, she was just gonna pick it up to look at it and look at the scratched runes a little closer.
Yeah, you already did an investigation on it, and
Oh, right.
so you see these runes that are kind of scratched onto it, and you didn't get any more information out of looking at it.
Can you tell me about the circlet?
Oh, the circlet. Yes. Word has it that this was a powerful relic of an ancient age of elves. And, these woods used to be filled with elves, and I stumbled across some ancient fortress ruins when I found this buried underneath some stone, still atop a grinning elven skull.
Ooh. And does she believe what he's saying?
You can give me an insight check.
She totally buys it.
Oh yeah, this is amazing that he found this.
How much does she want for it?
Would Ysmyr catch the lie in that one, since she's already kind of doubting him?
You can give me a roll with advantage. Yeah, you didn't catch the same change of tone that he used when describing the dagger in this one. It could be legit.
I'm not sure, Yaereene, but if you're set on that, just shop with caution.
Well, yes, of course. You'd want some kind of guarantee that it is as I say it is. Unfortunately, I cannot show you any pictures of the elven fortress, but I could tell you where I found it, and you could perhaps find the dead body yourself.
I don't know that I'm really excited about that many dead bodies right now.
Fair. I totally understand. However, you asked for a price. I would be willing to barter or trade in your gold coins, seeing how we're about to enter Nordgard. Yes, I will need some coins. I could let it go for perhaps 100 gold pieces.
Oh, I don't have that many. But I'll remember for when I do and maybe come back.
Tempus will ask if Yaereene would like to see some first-hand orcish bargaining take place.
Sure, I'm learning Orcish. That would be helpful.
Tempus is going to clear his throat, brush off the front of his shirt, and give the merchant a great big smile and say, Nordgard, you son of a bitch, that's way too much.
Tempus. You're only half the orc that I'm used to dealing with. No, I'm not frightened of you, and this ancient relic. Oh, this lady here has fine taste picking it out. But if you're going to harass me and call me names, perhaps the price is too low. What do you think of that?
I think we both know you're bluffing. Try me, old man. I'll wager you a wrestling match for the circlet.
A good old wrestling match. Well, I happen to have someone in my employ who would delight in taking that challenge for me.
Absolutely, but it won't be me he's wrestling, but my good friend and member of the Jagged Tusk, Yaereene.
Tempus,
Her eyes go bigger than you have ever seen, and she kind of squeaks.
I don't think we're that interested. Come on, Yaereene.
I have to go now.
After watching the two of them walk off, Tempus will turn back and will shrug and say, "Oh well, thanks anyway, Nordgard. Stay healthy in there. Watch your back among those Nordlings. They're not very polite."
I've heard such things about them, yes. Pity I would have liked to have watched that little elf wrestle Kinsley.
She'd surprise you. Trust me. She's She is much more than she thinks she is, but you'll get a chance someday. Take it from the inside track. You want to place your bets on her. And I'll shake his hand and take off after the group.
Betting against your own older brother, eh? The only one who survived. Well, that's ballsy.
Yes, because I know for a fact of what he's got between his ears, and it doesn't really matter what you've got in your arms. Look, he's an idiot. You and I know it. So just trust me, when the day comes, bet on Yaereene.
We'll see. We'll see. Farewell, Tempus. Safe travels.
And to you.
All right. So you guys are done talking to Rogtar the Liar.
Did we ever find Katiara?
Probably during the long rest.
Yeah,
Hopefully during the long rest.
he came crawling out of the woods at some point. So yeah, you guys are well rested. What would you like to do?
Tempus would like to know where his other mule is.
One of Gorold's cronies killed it, and I killed him.
Then the only answer is to march on Nordgard, find Gorold, and I'll look at Ysmyr
Tempus?
and say,
Not now.
another day, because we are in control of our faculties and do not allow anger to dictate our actions.
How very stoic of you, Tempus.
Let's go get the Daystar first, and then we can deal with Gorold.
Okay.
Are we actually going to go to the lake? That'd be.
Well, let's actually get on the road properly.
Please.
Yeah, so you guys begin your journey north. You can backtrack over your over the path that you had taken to find Tempus and get to the edge of the woods where they get quite dense. And at that point, I'm going to need survival checks. I'm also going to need a decision from you guys here. Let me share the map.
Oh no, our first travel decision. Like, seriously.
Yeah, this could take a while. So you do know that the river is frozen over, solid, and that it would take you all the way up to Daystar Lake. It is a much more winding path and would take you probably an extra day to get up to the lake. Or you can go cross country, pretty much straight north, and cut a day off your travel.
We probably want to follow the river for at least the first day.
Ryan, does Tempus know of any elven fortresses along any of the paths?
Up to the Daystar Lake? No.
Okay.
If you give me a history check, I'll see if you do know of any of them.
I'm not proficient. You sure you want me to give you the roll?
That's really fine.
Do okay.
Yeah, you don't know of any locations of elven fortresses.
Okay, in that case, I think Miri's idea is pretty good. If we just follow the winding river, we won't get lost. There'll be plenty of resources, and hopefully we'll run into other tribes who I can try and send back to the city to join in the growing horde.
Okay. So I'm going to need... Well, no, I won't need survival checks if you guys are just going to follow the river, because that's super easy.
Hey, we made that decision fast. Let's be fair.
Yeah, like, is everybody good with that? Does anybody want to go another way? Because
No, I want to go that way.
I meant in a good way, considering the temple debate, leaving the temple debate we had a while ago.
Yeah, we rock.
Yeah, this was quick. Okay, so if everyone's good with that, then you follow the river for the rest of the afternoon and evening. There's nothing that comes jumping out of the woods at you or anything like that. And so you make it up to the first major bend by the time night falls. Are you going to continue traveling into the night? You can probably press on for another couple of hours before you would be looking at suffering any kind of exhaustion checks or anything.
This area, is it an area that Tempus would have come through on his way to the city in the first place?
No, you didn't follow the river down. You kind of came down through the woods. So you've never seen this area before.
Okay, then I'd suggest that as long as everything's going our way, we continue to press on. I'm also just sharing with the party, like, basic information about how to recognize signs of either orc or goblin tribes being in the area, and what to look for to try and identify the tribes to see if they might potentially be friendly.
Okay. You can give me a survival check.
Assist with that?
You sure can. So as the sun begins to set, you're giving them lessons on goblins and orcs, and you do see some tracks crossing the river. They are not goblin or orc. You recognize them as bugbear tracks.
Do I get a sense of how many numbers or like what they look like they're carrying?
It looks like a couple of bugbears, but no, you don't have any idea what they were carrying or anything. You just see the footprints in the snow.
I'll inform the party and let them know that bugbears are just basically big furry goblins. You have to engage with them very, very particularly to ensure that they understand you. Does the party want to try and find them? I couldn't say if they were friendly or not.
Bugbears, they're not friendly.
Neither are orcs, but here we are.
Yes, but orcs at least are something you can talk to.
You can also talk to bugbears.
You can?
And Tempus is going to say something in Goblin.
Mary's gonna give him a very confused look. She's never heard that language.
Look, bugbears, they tend to respect whoever is the strongest, much like any other goblin. They might be able to tell us something interesting about the area, and they might be willing to head south to Nordgard to help in the fight if they've run into the undead.
I really don't think that the people of Nordgard are going to let bugbears in.
Well, if the group wants to leave them be, we can leave them be. I'm just putting it out there. I think that it wouldn't be the worst idea to talk to them.
For now, let's leave them be, unless they're more likely to be a problem, and then we'll reconsider.
Very well. Are we going to continue on any further, gang?
Are we at a point where we should probably camp? Like, are we close to exhaustion, Ryan, or...?
You've got a couple more hours before you have to worry about exhaustion because you had a late, long rest. So you can travel into the night if you want to, or you can set up camp early.
I would say let's camp now and get an early start in the morning.
That sounds logical.
Yeah, I think it's 3 to 2, Tempus. Sorry.
Hey, no problem. And we'll set up a camp. Do you want a survival check or what, Ryan?
Well, where are you setting up the camp? Are you setting it up on the open river, or are you looking for a safe spot in the forest with cover?
Safe spot in the forest, not on the river.
That'll be a survival check then.
I will help Yaereene.
Thank you. Ouch.
Okay, so there aren't a lot of great spots around here, but you find something decent, and you just might not want to have a fire overnight because you're not sure how much cover you'll have from the river without going even deeper into the woods.
That seems reasonable. No fire. We just all curl up together under blankets. Wait, we got tents, yes?
I think so.
We do.
We did.
Here, let me check my list because I have it open for this exact thing. We have 2 tents in the cart. So it was going to be enough that 4 people could sleep and 1 person could be on watch.
That's good.
Okay, so who's taking watch when?
I think we are good to go with our typical order. We'll have Yaereene go first, followed by Tempus, Yaereene, Ysmyr, and then Miri. Is that, I think, how we've done it in the past?
Can't even remember.
Miri likes to take the dawn watch because it gives her the chance to do her dawn rites.
Yeah, so Miri last, and then...
Ysmyr's fine with middle of the night.
As long as it doesn't mess up your spell slots or anything.
She just needs she needs a short rest for spell slots. So,
what does Yaereene need for hers?
I think everybody needs a long rest to get their spells back, but it's fine because you can break up the sleep. You're not doing anything like it for a long rest. Just sitting in camp and keeping watch is considered part of a long rest. They work it into the hours required and stuff.
Oh, cool.
Tempus, please give me a perception check.
Coming at you with a 13.
You have dark vision, right?
I do.
You are sitting at camp doing your watch when you see something approaching from the north. It appears to be humanoid in shape and roughly man-sized.
I'll call out, in a hushed voice, start with Orcish, that if he wakes up my companions for no good reason, I might just eat him.
There is no response to that.
Does it continue to approach the camp?
No.
So, humanoid figure, I'm not sure what, is just standing out there on the river?
No, it's north more in the deeper woods. And it is about 50 feet away from you right now when you saw it, and it's stopped moving.
Okay, same thing in Goblin. That if it wants to talk, it can, but if it wakes up my friends, I might eat it.
Can you give me another perception check?
No, I don't think I can.
And next, make an intimidation roll when you speak in Goblin. You hear a squeak, and it turns and runs away.
Okay. Who is the person who's up next? In the watch order, I mean?
Yaereene is up next.
Okay, I'm going to do a quick walk around the camp. Does it look like everything is relatively undisturbed after that shape took off?
Initiative, please. You get up and start to look around, and as you turn, you see behind you, about 20 feet away, or 15 feet away, a bugbear that has a javelin in hand and is readying to throw it at you.
Okay, and I beat him in initiative?
Yes, you did. That's why you get to see him doing this.
I'll roar to the party that there are foes among us, and I'll draw my weapon, and because I am a peaceful, pacifistic, romantic at heart, I'm going to tell him that this is his last goddamn chance to get on the ground before I have to eat him.
That would be an intimidation check. Oh, no.
Oh, no is right.
He is not scared. Are you... Okay, so that was your action. Are you doing anything for movement or anything?
Yeah, I'll get in his face, try to foul his javelin throw.
Okay, and he changes his grip on the javelin and whacks at you with it, and misses badly. Okay, so everybody else wakes up. Can you please give me initiative rolls?
Oh, good. I come back to roll initiative.
Yaerene's sleepy.
Ysmyr. Oh, I guess no. Ysmyr's not much better. You gotta wake us up earlier, Tempus.
I didn't want to spoil your long rest.
But now,
Tempus, if something comes at us...
I warned you. A little bit late.
the problem. We will have another discussion.
Look, I think that nothing I did in that particular situation was particularly unreasonable. I behaved cautiously. I didn't go charging off into the dark. Cut me some slack.
It was better than usual.
See? It's improving.
Okay, so back to the top.
Reckless attack on Homeboy. So yeah, does a 17 hit?
It does. So he takes 5 points of damage.
Yep. And can I detect any other people around?
What's your passive perception?
Bad. I'm at a 10.
Ugh, roll garbage. Yeah, you do hear movement behind you.
I'll shout out, "Goblins hunt in packs. Look around us."
Okay, next up is Miri.
I thought I rolled terrible.
You rolled a 50. You rolled a 12, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not terrible. It's better than everybody else except for Tempus.
I actually have options. I also have a passive perception of 15. What do I see?
Your gaze is drawn to Tempus and the bugbear he's fighting, but you also hear something behind you.
Okay, and if I glance behind me, what do I see?
Another bugbear readying a javelin.
Tempus has the first one in hand. I am going to turn and look at the other one that's behind me, and I actually have more options. My magic working again actually gives me more options, and I'm not sure what to do.
You can always hit him with like a simple cantrip or something. Sacred Flame?
That sounds good. Let's Sacred Flame.
Okay, that's a wisdom save, right?
Yeah, what do I roll?
You don't roll anything. He'll be rolling to see if he saves versus your difficulty.
13. Wait, does that go?
He saves, so nothing happens. Anything else on your turn?
Don't know if I have anything else.
Okay. Then the next up is their turn.
I mean, besides the obvious yelling that there's another one behind us.
Yep, that's a free action, so you can tell them that. And Tempus, you get whacked or stabbed.
I did make a reckless attack, so he has that attack at advantage if you want to see if he crits me.
I do. Nope. So you take 9 points of damage as he skewers you with a javelin. And the other one throws its javelin at Miri, and 23. And Miri, you take 5 points of damage as this javelin comes flying out of the woods and hits you one. It's also going to move in now that it's thrown its javelin and draw its morning star. Would you guys like a picture of what's going on?
Yeah, just to know where we are.
Okay, so on the left there is the bugbear that Tempus is fighting, and on the right, beside Katyra and Miri, is the other bugbear. I've got a weird-looking lizard thing for the mule in front of the cart, which is the sticky note, and then Ysmyr in front, and Yaereene beside the mule.
Thank you.
Protect Chewie at all costs.
Well, it is your turn, Ysmyr.
Okay, she is going to cast Armor of Agathis on herself, and then do Hexblade's Curse on... So the one on the left is the one fighting Tempus, and the one on the right is the one fighting Miri?
That's right.
She'll do it to the one fighting Tempus.
Okay. Are there any rolls that I have to make for that?
No, I don't think so. I'll read it out to you in a second here.
Okay, so that's your Armor of Agathis that's giving you all kinds of cool stuff.
Yeah, 10 extra hit points, and if something melees her, well, she has those 10 hit points, they get cold damage. And Hexblade's Curse. Once per short rest, as a bonus action, choose one creature you see within 30 feet to curse for 1 minute or until they die. You die or you are incapacitated. Against the cursed target, you gain a +2 bonus to damage rolls, score a critical hit on a roll of 19 or 20, and you gain 7 hit points if it dies. So it's cursed right now, and there's no roll to protect against it.
Okay. Anything else on your turn?
And for now, I guess she's going to move to flank that guy on the left.
What's your movement speed?
Apparently I'm at 20 right now. I didn't realize I was overburdened.
Well, you might have some of your stuff in the cart.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, is she should have some stuff in there.
Yeah, so we'll say that you've got full movement. Is that 30 feet?
Yeah. And, before I move her, she has Devil's Sight. Does she see anything else around? And her passive perception is 11.
No, you don't see anything else.
Okay, then yeah, she's gonna, for now, flank that guy and help Tempus out.
Okay, you won't be able to get completely into flanking position. You're beside it right now, so if Tempus slides around it, he'll get flanking on his turn.
Okay, that's fine.
Next up is Yaereene.
So how tall is the mule? I.e., can she see the one that Miri's on over the mule, or would it have cover?
Yeah, either one of them will have partial cover, so it'll get a +2 to AC.
Okay, she'll help Miri out since she sees Ysmyr going the one Tempus is at. As a bonus action, she's going to cast Hunter's Mark.
Okay.
I'm just finding that one to tell you. So I choose a creature I see within range and mark it as my quarry. Until the spell ends, I deal an extra 1d6 damage to the target whenever I hit it with a weapon attack, and I have advantage on any wisdom perception or wisdom survival check I make to find it. If it drops below to 0 hit points before the spell ends, I can use a bonus action on a subsequent turn to mark a new creature.
Sounds good.
So I'm marking the one that Miri's on, and I'm going to shoot at it with my bow.
Okay. That is a miss.
Okay, I'm done.
Okay, back up to the top of the order with Tempus.
Eesh, Tempus is a little bit wounded, and yeah, I'll expend a rage, and I'll make another reckless attack.
Okay. Are you going to move into flanking position with Ysmyr?
Yeah, that I would do that, so yes, I will.
Okay. That's a hit.
12 damage from my halberd.
Ouch. Okay, the bugbear is looking pretty hurt after that. Anything else on your turn?
That's it for me. I'm just going to stand there with the flank and roar with my rage.
Sounds good. Next up is Miri. Miri, you've got a bugbear in your face.
Yes, I do. What do I do to it? I mean, whack it, obviously, but
Magic.
yeah. What does a burning hand do? Yes, I legitimately don't remember what half my spells do.
It's okay. While you're figuring that out, Tempus, you get 7 health back as Kachara casts a healing word on you.
Thank you. Posted to the chat as Burning Hands.
That's not the same spell.
Okay, sorry.
I can tell that specifically because it says that its classes sorcerer and wizard, and I'm neither of those.
No, the reason that you have it is because of your divine school, whatever it's called. You do get that, even though it's a wizard spell, you get it because you're a light cleric or whatever it is.
Oh, okay. So that would in fact make sense, for the thing is right in front of me now, yes?
Yep.
Then that's what I do.
Okay, so it makes a dex save.
What's your spell DC, Miri? It should be 8 plus like your proficiency bonus and your spellcasting modifier.
My spell save DC is 13.
Woot.
Yeah. So it fails, so you do full damage.
Okay, what do I roll?
3d6.
3d6.
Do I add anything?
Just 3d6. Ouch.
That's
Oh
lame.
no.
One more than minimum damage. Okay.
Holy crap.
So you fan
Does
out
a
your
spell
hands.
attack bonus plus 5 do anything?
Not a thing.
Okay.
So you splay out your hands and a fan of flames erupts and singes the bugbear's fur, and you note that the trees behind it also start to smolder. Anything else on your turn?
I don't think I can do anything else. Oh, I didn't read the rest of it. Oops.
Yep. Burning hands can be dangerous. That's okay.
Whoops.
Hence the trees.
Yep. So next up is them.
Well, it's winter?
So Tempus, the bugbear that you've been fighting, drops the javelin and pulls out a morning star to whack at you. Does a 15 hit?
Surely does.
You take 4 points of damage because it's halved due to your rage.
Thank you.
And oh no, Miri.
Oh no.
Uh-oh, what happened?
Nat 20.
That doesn't look good.
You're taking 18 points of bludgeoning damage. Oh, sorry, piercing damage because it's a morning star.
That's the first Nat 20 all session too, and it went to a enemy.
Yep, that was painful.
I critted on something today.
Did you? I didn't see it.
Possibly playing Slap the Hand with Tempus.
She slapped my hand real good.
Well, slap these bugbears' hands just as good as you slap Tempus's.
I'll work on that.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so you've got 1 hit point left.
Okay.
Right where you want to be. That's the perfect amount of hit points.
Oh, God.
I want to remind everyone that we all have healing potions. Everyone got 1 greater potion of healing and 1 regular potion of healing.
And Ysmyr, it's your turn.
Ysmyr is... So we're flanking that guy right now?
You are.
Okay. She is going to... She probably drew her longsword while she was running over. Just gonna
Sure.
say that. She's gonna take longsword and... actually, with that, she has the longsword and she usually has a dagger in her offhand. Would she be allowed to draw both or just one while she was running?
To do 2-weapon fighting, both weapons have to be finesse weapons, so you can't fight longsword dagger.
Oh, right. Sorry. I mixed up versatile with...
No problem.
But yeah, she'll draw she'll have the longsword and she's going to cast Booming Blade, her cantrip.
Okay.
Not very well.
Well, it doesn't do anything until it moves, right?
Yeah, sorry, hold on.
I've got Booming Blade on one of my characters right now, and I love it.
Yeah, so she has to make a melee attack. That's the problem.
Yep.
I haven't used this one since like the first game, so
19 definitely hits.
okay, so then when he moves, I do the booming blade.
Right.
Okay.
So were you using it one-handed or two-handed?
Just one-handed.
Okay. So you did 8 damage. Oh, you drop it.
Oh, I get 7 hit points I don't need. Oh, she rolled a 19. That would have been a crit too.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, it's quite.
It's
dead
down
then.
anyway. Forgot about
Okay.
that. So that was her action, and as it drops, can she start moving towards Miri?
Yes, you can. You're going to move 30 feet.
Then she will start that way.
Okay, you're back in front of the mule again, and it's Yaerene's turn.
Okay, we will try another longbow shot. That's at least better.
That's a hit. You guys, you're so nice. You just don't want to hurt this guy. All this
I know.
minimum damage.
And that's everything for Yaereene.
Okay. Back to the top of the order. Tempus.
Sorry, the one that Ysmyr dropped, was that the one that I've been confronting?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, stole him.
Yeah, it's all good. I'll run across the clearing, bellowing at the top of my lungs, and make a reckless attack on the one that's attacking Miri.
What's your movement?
Sorry, I lost that. My movement speed is 30 feet.
Okay, you can't get there with one round of regular movement.
Does my halberd manage to get him with the reach, because I have a 5-foot reach?
No, the only thing you can reach from there is Kechiara.
I strike down the elf who... no, that's okay. Okay, then in that case, I'll use the dash action to give Miri a flank.
Sounds good. So unless you get struck on your next turn, your rage goes away. Is that how that works?
I'll read up on it and confirm. Keep going through the initiative.
Okay. Kechiara is going to cast Cure Wounds on Miri.
Oh, good! I need that! Like, really badly!
Yeah, you get 9 health back.
Thank you!
And that's all Kechiara is doing. He's just healing because he fell asleep.
Hey, we need it.
And next up is Miri.
Okay, let's just whack it with the mace. Well, that's not helpful.
Nope.
Well, at
that's
least it wasn't in that one.
True.
Can I slide backward?
It will get an attack of opportunity on you. It takes a swing at Miri and misses. So we go down to Ysmyr's turn.
Okay, are any of the others straight ahead of me?
Yes. The bugbear is currently getting cover from Kechiara and Miri, and then Tempus is in line behind it.
Okay, then she's just going to, I guess, run up beside it where it's clear, if that's in her movement, and she'll take a two-handed swing at it.
You can get into flanking with it with Kechiara behind it.
Okay, I'll do that. So two-handed swing. So that would be advantage?
You get advantage because Kechiara is giving you flanking, yeah. Unfortunately, it's a miss.
Darn.
Anything else on your turn?
Sorry. Checking my bonus actions.
Yep.
For now, no.
Okay, Yaereene, you're up.
Does a 15 hit?
Alas, no.
And is any of my inspiration from you can't be used at this point?
You have to declare that before the attack.
Sounds good. Thanks. I'm done.
Okay, back up to Tempus.
I have... he is flanked right now, so I can attack at advantage. Is that correct?
That's right. That is a hit.
I'll go again to see if I crit. Not quite, but close. So yeah, go with, I guess, now how does this work? Because it gives us damage for either roll. So, what damage do you want to use?
It would be the first roll. And you're not raged anymore. Oh, wait. Let me think on this.
That's flanking advantage.
Yeah, did the rage give you a bonus to hit with the halberd?
No, it does not, because that's my 3 strength modifier and my 2 proficiency modifier, so it's 1d20 plus 5. It only gives me a bonus to damage.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, I'll take the first one then, because I was going to say if it added anything to hit, then you would have missed but you hit it for 13 damage. Ouch.
Could I also maybe try one more intimidation at it?
No.
Okay, that's my turn.
Okay. Who's hurt right now?
I am.
Okay. Keitara will cast another Cure Light Wounds. And you get another 10 health back.
So I'm now at 20.
Perfect. Miri, it's your turn.
I think I'm gonna do that same thing as last time and whack it
Okay.
with advantage.
And that's a miss again.
Oh, poor Miri. You get your
That's not useful.
you get your powers back, and there goes your smacking ability.
Well, apparently I should put my mace away now.
Maybe it's Shero trying to tell you something.
Apparently.
Wow.
And Miri, it clubs you upside the head for 11 damage.
I just hear you, Katir.
I think we heard.
Oh,
back.
you're back.
Yes, I rise from the dead.
You've been doing a lot of healing while you've been asleep.
Honestly, you've been encounter MVP.
Really?
Yes,
Yeah.
after I've managed to fall to 1 HP and stuff.
Ysmyr, you're up.
Okay. Booming blade cantrip with a two-handed longsword swing, and I'm still flanking with Katira, right?
That's right.
All right. Gosh darn it!
That's a miss.
The one fight I'm getting in there with. Ugh.
Yep, it happens.
Oh, sorry, I may have jumped the gun there.
Nope, that roll counts totally. I hope.
I was just gonna say I'll cast Hex on him. It's a bonus action.
Okay. So then, Yaereene, you... Oh, is that...
That's
So Hex does damage?
1d6 damage, apparently, whenever you hit the target with an attack. So I haven't actually hit it.
Oh, okay, I get it. So it doesn't do anything right now. Yaereene, you nail it through the eye and very likely kill it.
And so, because I've got a crit damage, and I have 1d8 plus 3. So is it 2d8 plus 6 or 2d8 plus 3?
2d8 plus 3. And that's
Plus
more than
my
enough.
hunter's mark.
Oh, yeah, that would be an extra d6. Yeah, you slaughter it. It goes down in a heap.
Excellent.
Okay. Well, I'll just say Ysmyr once that one drops, takes some time to look around for anything else.
Sure, yeah, you don't find any signs of anything else. The one that Tempus scared away at the start is long gone.